Comrades, I will now reconvene the 125th VFW National Convention. Sergeant at Arms, you will please conduct the opening ceremonies.
Yes, sir, Comrade Commander-in-Chief, sir. Veterans of foreign wars of the United States, attention, hup! Comrades, facing the flag of our nation, please join me in an opening salute to our colors. Present, arms. Order, arms. Comrade National Chaplain will lead us in our opening prayer. Uncover, parade, rest.
God, you are the creator of all that is. We come into your presence this day with open hearts. We give thanks to you for the bounty of your blessings, for the love of families, friends, and comrades. Lord, help those who are in their time of need, especially those that are contemplating suicide. We will now have a moment of silent prayer for our departed comrades and for those missing in action and those held prisoners of war. Lord, direct us so that we may perform our duties faithfully and efficiently throughout this day. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Veterans of foreign wars of the United States, attention, hut, cover. Comrades honoring the flag of our nation, please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. Present, arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, arms. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, that completes the opening ceremonies of this session of the 125th National Convention of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, sir.
Thank you.
National Sergeants, right, face, forward.
Thank you.
March.
Sergeant at Arms, everyone please be seated. I would like to call on Betty Grip for the report of credentials. Betty.
Good morning, Commander-in-Chief, council members, and delegates. At the close of business, 4 p.m. yesterday, July 29th, 2024, the total delegates registering their credentials, 1,945. Delegate strength, delegates, 8,807. Department commanders, 46. Total past Commander-in-Chief, 15. National officers, 52. Grand total, 8,920. That is my report, sir.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Betty, for your outstanding work. Before we get underway today, we will be remiss not to acknowledge a harrowing event that took place on this date 79 years ago. Here with more is Adjutant General Dan West.
Comrades, today we're going to remember the USS Indianapolis CA-35, and thanks to the Arizona Council member, Jeffrey, for bringing that to our attention. After delivering the components of the nuclear bombs to the island of Tinian, the USS Indianapolis was ordered to join the rest of the fleet in the Philippine Sea in preparation for the invasion of Japan. Captain McVeigh requested a destroyer escort, which was denied by the Pacific Command, and the Indianapolis left as ordered. While en route, as ordered, at approximately 0015 on July 30th, 1945, Japanese submarine I-58 launched 6 torpedoes at the USS Indianapolis, with 2 hitting their mark. The ship, with 1,195 sailors and Marines, sank in under 15 minutes with approximately 300 men. Approximately 917 entered the water to be exposed to dehydration, saltwater poisoning, and shark attacks. 4 days after the sinking, a PBY plane spotted the survivors and radioed for help, starting the frantic rescue. When all the remaining survivors were rescued, there were only 316 remaining. Of those 316 heroes, only one is still alive today, Harold Bray. On a final note, the wreckage of the USS Indianapolis CA-35 was found more than 70 years later on August 19, 2017, confirmed by video and photographic evidence. The Department of Defense has classified the exact location secret and designated the area as hallowed waters.
Gallantry in action, above and beyond the call of duty, risk of life, selflessness, exemplary action, unwavering devotion, extraordinary heroism. The words enshrined within Medal of Honor citations capture the best of humanity. Our next guest enlisted in the U.S. Army as an infantryman in 1999. As the grandson of a World War II Bronze Star recipient, he had a sense of duty instilled in him since he was a young age. Having served deployments to Kosovo and Iraq, it was an event during his deployment to Iraq in 2004, on his 29th birthday no less, that would change his life forever, earning him the Distinguished Medal of Honor. Staff Sergeant David G. Bellavia distinguished himself by acts of gallantry above and beyond the call of duty on November 10, 2004, while serving as a squad leader in support of Operation Phantom Fury in Fallujah, Iraq. While clearing a house, a squad from his platoon became trapped within a room by intense enemy fire coming from a fortified position under the stairs leading to the second floor. Recognizing the immediate severity of the situation and with disregard for his own safety, Bellavia engaged the insurgents, and with enemy rounds impacting around him, he fired at the enemy and provided covering fire that allowed the squad to break contact and exit the house. A Bradley fighting vehicle was brought forward to suppress the enemy. However, due to the high walls surrounding the house, it could not fire directly at enemy positions. Staff Sergeant Bellavia then re-entered the house and again came under intense enemy fire. He observed an enemy insurgent preparing to launch a rocket-propelled grenade at his platoon. Recognizing the grave danger the grenade posed to his fellow soldiers, he assaulted the enemy position, killing one insurgent, wounding another who ran to a different part of the house. Realizing he had an uncleared, darkened room to his back, moved to clear it. As he entered, an insurgent came down the stairs firing him. Simultaneously, the previous wounded insurgent re-emerged and engaged Staff Sergeant Bellavia. Entering further into the darkened room, he returned fire and eliminated both insurgents. He then received enemy fire from another insurgent emerging from a closet in the darkened room. Exchanging gunfire, he pursued the enemy up the stairs and eliminated him. Now on the second floor, Staff Sergeant Bellavia moved to a door that opened onto the roof. At this point, a fifth insurgent leapt from the third floor roof onto the second floor roof. He engaged the insurgent through a window, wounding him in the back of the legs and caused him to fall off the roof. Acting on instinct to save the members of his platoon from immediate threat, Staff Sergeant Bellavia ultimately cleared an entire enemy-filled house, destroyed 4 insurgents, and badly wounded a 5th. It was Staff Sergeant Bellavia's heroic intervention and selfless actions that single-handedly saved the lives of his squad, giving his brother-in-arms a chance to break contact and reorganize when trapped by overwhelming insurgent fire. On June 5, 2019, he was justly awarded the Medal of Honor by then President Trump. We're honored that he's here with us today. Please welcome life member of VFW Post 1483, a true American hero, Medal of Honor recipient, Staff Sergeant David Bellavia.
Comrades, hand salute.
Order.
Ready, two. Take your seats.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, listen, just a little, allow this point of personal privilege, if you would. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina for 7 hours, and flight's a little crazy. People ask me all the time, what can the VFW do run the Department of Transportation, please. We are struggling. We are struggling. All I want to do is be around veterans, and all I want to do is thank combat veterans for raising me the way you raised me. I grew up in a town in western New York outside of Buffalo. Hold your applause for Buffalo. Thank you. Unbelievable. By the way, there's more members of the VFW from Wyoming than actually live in Wyoming. How is that possible? I noticed that. In my hometown, veterans were put on pedestals. We're the hometown of John Basilone, Buffalo, New York. Veterans walked around, they looked you in the eyes. They weren't people that knocked up their girlfriends or couldn't get into college. They were men and women. They were Americans, they were patriots. Parents took their kids and said, look at that. That's what I want you to be. My grandfather is still with me, thank God. He's 104 and he's a Normandy veteran. And he's a, yeah. Oh. He told stories to an 8-year-old that should never be told to an 8-year-old. But man, I was ready. And I got a chance to meet the Vietnam generation. And let me tell you something about Vietnam veterans. First of all, thank you for winning your war that civilians lost. Thank you for fighting. Thank you. Thank you for building this organization. Thank you for fixing the VA, and thank you for handing us a better country than you were given. And most importantly, Vietnam veterans, thank you for protecting us from the pink-haired baristas that attacked your valor when you came home. Thank you for standing up for your grandkids and your children and loving us in a way that you weren't loved. Now I want you to look around this room right now. Look to your left and look to your right. What do you see? I'll tell you what, if Hamas is coming, they ain't coming here. I promise you. I promise you. I see diversity. I see dignity. I see decency. I don't need to advertise inclusion in the United States military. Inclusion is called leadership. That's what we do. We don't have to advertise our equity and our diversity because that's what we're told to do. It's our oath. We swear an oath unto God that we will treat people with dignity and respect, not because it's for Facebook likes or because it helps us get nominated for a political office. We do it because it's our obligation to do. That's who we are as veterans. Now I'm told that there are even members of the Air Force in this room. And I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, all the rivalries, when those 2,500 bombs, God bless you and your parents for making you. I want to thank you from the bottom. There are so many children that have moms and dads today because of what you've done for this country, what you represent. And I'm going to tell you something about the VFW. The VFW is relevant. The VFW has overwhelming, how many politicians lining up to come in here? No one's messing with the VFW. The VFW is the last line of defense when it comes to veterans. And I'll tell you, when I was in the 1st Infantry Division in Iraq. Thank you. Hold your applause for that. It's a big red one. Does your division have a movie with Luke Skywalker in it? No, it does not. Does anyone question why Lee Marvin is a 62-year-old staff sergeant? Does anyone? Why is that man in charge of a squad at that age? Here's when I look, we got into our first fight, we were combat veterans. And our leadership did, and if there's anyone watching this in the active military, every one of your soldiers and airmen and Marines do what they did to us in the 1st Infantry Division. Force them all to be lifetime members of the VFW the first time they're shot at. I'll tell you what, there's nothing cooler. There's nothing cooler than walking into a VFW when you've earned it. And you can look at the men who were your baseball coaches, the soldiers that were your teachers, the people that all you wanted to do was make them proud of you. And they turn around and say, thank you. Thank you for carrying on the legacy of what it is to be an American. We're all different, we disagree, we cancel each other's votes. But look at us. Look at what we represent. Let me tell you something. The Vietnam generation has served their country at war and at peace, and now a new generation has taken over the VFW. And here's what I can promise you about my friends from Afghanistan and Iraq. We are aggressive. We are earnest, but we have a true north. And we will keep our true north. We will represent the blood that has been shed for this country. But we are not afraid. We are not afraid to put a boot in a chest if we have stupidity and ignorance in Washington, D.C. and in your state capital. We will do it. Let that be a warning. And as we go into a political season and everyone's talking their politics, I just heard the North Carolina governor dropped out of the race to be VP. And after spending 8 hours in Charlotte Airport, I agree, sir. Time to look on to other things. But in a political season, we become props. Veterans we bring up the veteran tells a story, and we're trying to get something out of you. Get something out of you. Here's what we know right now. We know that confidence in the United States military is at a 20-year low. We know that recruiting is cratered. We know right now that when we tell parents to give us their sons and daughters to serve the greatest country that God has ever created, they tell us we don't believe that you will love our kids like we love them back. We at the VFW can change that. We can change the way service is interpreted. We are going to change the way parents look. Listen, how many, you served, your dad served, your mom served, your uncle served. It's a family business for how many Americans? Everyone should want to serve their country. Everyone should stand up and salute that flag. And everyone should be outraged when someone takes down the American flag at Union Station and puts up a terrorist flag while we still have American hostages held, and the proxies that put that flag up, they've killed hundreds of Marines and soldiers in 20 years in a global war on terror. That shouldn't just disgust the VFW, it should disgust America. So here's how we change it. We change it by telling young people not just what you did when you got a bad haircut in Georgia. And some of you, by the way, evidently went back to Georgia. I forgive you. We tell them what we did when we came home. We tell them about what we did when we came home. Because when you're a member of the VFW, you're a two-time volunteer. You served your country in uniform, and now you're serving your country right now. And
give him a woo, Dave. You gotta give him a Ric Flair
I don't
woo.
even, you do it.
No, give him a Ric Flair woo.
Teach me how to do it.
Woo!
And I'm glad he did that. I'm glad he did that. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for what you represent, what you've done for America, how you raised me. I'm an example of my leadership. I'm an example of the valor of what I'm looking at right now. You taught us how to fight. You taught us how to serve. You taught us how to be citizens. And now we are going to take what you taught us, and we're going to take the VFW and bring it to a level that has never been seen in American history, where every adult will be shamed when they dishonor your service. Anyone in Washington, D.C. that wants to use service and put that for political talking points or for a vote, we're going to stare them in the eyes. And here's the power of the VFW. Here is the secret sauce, the mutant ability of veterans that have gone to war. You can't look at them in the eyes unless you've been there yourself. No one knows your story unless you tell them your story. And what is your story about? What, you wanted to go to college that bad that you were willing to kick down a door? Were your student loans that bad that you would drive down a road with IEDs on it? Did you go into villages in South Vietnam looking for Chinese communists? Because why? Because you needed health care? You fought because you loved. You didn't hate the enemy. You loved the person to your left and right. You loved your country. You loved your way of life. That's why you're here right now. In a world of berets, we're rocking the garrison cap for life. That's who the VFW is. We fight so our children never have to. We fight for one day when our kids and our enemies' children can discuss their differences without picking up a rifle and shooting at each other. And until that day comes, we will intimidate the hell out of you if you threaten American citizens. We will ruin your day. And if you want to fight against the United States of America, the best case scenario is it ends with a limp and a speech impediment. I'm telling you what, that's who we are. That's our promise to you older veterans that served and led us and taught us how to lead. We're going to show you what mentors you were. We're going to do that to the next generation. We're going to remind young people that America is still worthy of any sacrifice, because that's what Dad taught us and Grandpa taught us. And we are going to teach American civilians how to conduct themselves as American civilians. We can disagree. We don't have to get stupid. And if you want to get stupid, you want VFW members in the room when people get stupid. I promise you, it'll end quickly. God bless you. God bless your service. God bless the VFW. And may God have mercy on anyone stupid enough to challenge the United States Army in a field of battle. Hooah, let's go get them. Thank you.
If you're still hungover and you ain't fired up by now, I don't know what the hell wrong with you. Woo! Woo! Ric Flair's gonna sue me, I think. Where the hell are we? Stop! You know I can't resist. No! Look, one more. Woo! You people are crazy. With predatory claim sharks threatening veterans' hard-earned benefits, the work our VA-accredited service officers do day in and day out to protect our nation's military and veterans' families and the benefits they earned are paramount. Our next award recipient is someone for the last 22 years has made helping our veterans his top priority. Jerry K. Roos. Did I say that right? K. Roos? K-Rouge, Jerry, I say it right? K-Rouge. K-Rouge. I mean, they even phonetically put it, I'm like, K-Rouge. Jerry K-Rouge, a Lousiville native and VFW life member of Post 1170, was an Air Force veteran who was also served in the Kentucky Army National Guard. In 1991, he deployed to Saudi Arabia with the 438th MP Company as part of Operation Desert Storm. Jerry joined the VFW in 1992 and was appointed to the VFW Department of Kentucky Service Office in August of 2001. First as an assistant service officer, then later as a department service officer. In the past year, Jerry almost single-handedly ran the department service officer due to turnover in staff, ensuring veterans and their families continue to receive the high-quality service they deserved. Though he was covering a busy office with little support, Jerry still found the time to conduct several schools of instruction and provide mentorship to Kentucky's district and post-service officers. His work has helped Kentucky veterans recoup more than $95 million in VA benefits in the last fiscal year, with nearly $400,000 in new benefits awarded. After 22 years of faithful and enduring service to the department, he proudly retired in June of 2024. Jerry, thank you for your commitment, perseverance, and your unwavering dedication to our nation's service members, veterans, and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating, from right here in the beautiful city of Lousiville, the 2024 John A. Bajetsky Accredited Service Officer Representative of the Year, Jerry K-Rouge. Join. I want to mention Betty Jean. I want to mention it. Okay. Joining with me is Betty Jean Bajetsky. Her husband, past Commander-in-Chief John Bajetsky, is who this award is named after. And Betty Jean, thank you for joining us today.
John A. Bajetsky, Accredited Service Representative of the Year, 2023-2024, presented to Gerald Jerry K-Rouge, State Service Officer, VFW Department of Kentucky, and special recognition of exemplary achievements in support of the Veteran Service Mission and programs of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, thus earning the distinction of the VFW John A. Bajetsky Accredited Service Representative of the Year. His remarkable and steadfast service to our nation's veterans on behalf of the VFW Department of Kentucky reflects great credit upon himself, his department, and our entire organization. His actions make real the promise that no one does more for veterans, and witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and the official seal of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States this 30th day of July, 2024. Signed by Commander-in-Chief Dwayne Sarmiento and Dan West, Adjutant General.
I'm pleased to introduce our next guest, and he's no stranger to any of you. A man who has served the VFW for more than 2 decades, and someone I consider a true friend. I mean that. I ain't here to blow smoke up your ass. I mean that, as a true friend of mine. Timothy M. Borden served the United States Army from 1979 to 2007 with service in Korea and Iraq. He became a life member in 2000, excuse me, and currently maintains his Gold Legacy Life membership at VFW Post 9972 in Sierra Vista, Arizona. Is Gene here? Gene? It's a dry heat, Gene. It's a dry heat. Dedicating to ensuring the VFW continues to grow, he has earned the title of Elite Recruiter for 21 consecutive years and counting. He was VFW Department of Arizona Commander from 2011 to 2012, in which he not only achieved All-American, but also received the Distinguished Triple Crown Award. Tim became the first Iraq War veteran to lead our organization, and it was under his leadership the most historic piece of legislation this century was passed, the 2022 Honoring Our PAC Act. He is a respected leader, and under the direction of the VFW, experienced strong growth and impressive forward momentum. Today, he remains wholeheartedly dedicated to the VFW mission. I am truly honored to present him with the Distinguished Service Award. Where the hell is he?
Distinguished Service Medal and citation awarded to Timothy M. Borland, and lasting appreciation and spirited recognition of his more than 2 decades of stalwart service and dedication to the veterans of foreign wars of the United States. Through his commitment to advocacy efforts and genuine support of our nation's veterans, service members, and their families, he worked diligently to further the VFW mission while successfully fulfilling roles as Department Commander, National Council of Administration member, member of multiple national committees, and ultimately as Commander-in-Chief, the pinnacle of VFW achievement. His steadfast dedication to the values of the VFW has left a lasting mark on the organization and has earned him our deepest respect and appreciation. His unyielding service to the veteran community and his truly admirable commitment to the VFW mission has justly earned him the highest level of admiration and gratitude of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States, and witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and the official seal of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States this 30th day of July, 2024, signed by Dwayne Sarmiento, Commander-in-Chief, and Dan West, Adjutant General.
Good morning, VFW. I'll tell you right now, it's hard to follow that Medal of Honor recipient. What a story, very good enthusiasm. Got you guys all riled up. I thought that was just neat. I love how he continued to bring up the VFW in his speech, because I'll tell you right now, there's no more truth than what he said, that when we're out and about, don't get in our way, such as membership. For those of you that know me, I never stop recruiting. Never stop recruiting. It's because I love the VFW. I did 28 years in the Army and now 24 in the VFW. And the only reason why it's only 24 is because for 20 years I never heard of the VFW when I was in the service. Never once in my first 20 years of my 28-year history heard about the VFW. And when I did, I joined Post 9972 in Sierra Vista, Arizona as a life member, and I have never transferred. My loyalty will always be with that post, because that post is the one that brought me into the VFW. So I challenge all of you on this floor, recruit one this year for your incoming Commander-in-Chief, and I guarantee you that's going to help the numbers at least by 1 or 2% right off the bat. Let those veterans out there, especially the active duty military veterans out there, let them know that they're veterans too if they've deployed overseas to Iraq, Afghanistan, Desert Storm, Africa, wherever there's an expeditionary medal, hopefully Poland, if we can get that resolution signed into law so we can get the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal awarded to over 20,000 National Guard troops and reserve individuals that served over there since February of 2022. So VFW, I challenge you to recruit one. If you recruit one, this convention, come up and tell me. I want to hear about it. Thank you, Commander-in-Chief Dwayne Sarmiento, for this honor. Thank you, Veterans of Foreign Wars, for the honor of letting me serve. God bless our troops and God bless America. Thank you.
A trip to almost any VA hospital will reveal the important work of the Military Order of the Cootie. Each year, the Cootie spend thousands of hours bringing comfort and laughs to our hospitalized veterans. They keep them smiling in beds of white, a grand tribute to the service and sacrifice of all veterans. Our next guest was elected Supreme Commander of the Military Order of the Cootie last July. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, in Cootie fashion, the Supreme Commander of the Military Order of the Cootie of the United States of America, Mark Larkin, from the great state of North Carolina. Boo!
Wow. But first off, start out, woo! Woo! Chief, don't go anywhere. On behalf of the Cooties, we heard that you like to drink beer.
I'm not a big drinker.
Not a big drinker, but you like to drink beer when it's time to drink. So, from my heart and the Cooties' heart to you, we bought you this mini keg. Some of you may know what it is. It's a square keg, but I did have it personally embossed for you. It says, to Dwayne Sarmiento, Commander-in-Chief, Veterans of Foreign Wars, 2023-2024, AKA Military Order of the Cootie, Supreme Overwatch. Yes. Meet the challenge. From me, Supreme Commander, Military Order of the Cootie, AKA Triple S, and Scouting for Comrades. All the other parts are down there in a box.
Thank you so much.
Is it boo or is it woo? All right, I'm getting older, so I got to pull out my glasses.
I know that's you, Lutman.
Thank you, comrades. Thank you, Commander-in-Chief Dwayne Sarmiento. You'll never know what it feels like to be standing on this stage until you're doing it. You know all the things. It took me an entire year to figure out what I was going to say when I got up here, and I still have no clue what I'm going to say when I get up here. But we had a hell of a year, did we not?
Yes, sir, we did.
So we got through the honoring you with a gift. First off, I want to start, may I address the caucus?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How many Cooties we got out there? If you're a Cootie, stand up.
Tell them to stand up.
If you're a Cootie, stand up. I want to let you know this is the same theme around the country. For those of you that may not be standing up, you can go ahead and sit down, Cooties. That there's a good about 50% of the comrades that are here today that are Cooties. That doesn't surprise me, us being the Supreme Cooties and being the honor degree of the VFW as chartered in the bylaws of Article 12 of your bylaws. What is amazing to me is that we make up less than 1% of the VFW population, but over 50% are here as your workforce. Your workforce is comprised of 50% of the Cooties, if not more. Now, I want to tell you about all the great things the Cooties did for you, but I don't want to stand up here and tell you a bunch of bullshit. He gave me the ring. But because statistics are boring. Nobody wants to tell you all the great things that we did. You may not even want to hear them. But I will tell you for the first time in a very long time that the Cooties have reported 100% inspection reports for the year. That is an amazing feat for anybody. And again, I won't stand up here and tell you all the great things we did. It's like I won't tell you that we instituted 11 new pup tents across this great nation. And you know, yesterday we heard from the gentleman that made the movie Brothers at War, and we all saw that trailer. And he felt compelled because he had heard that during the last 20 years, active duty service members, 6,700 had died in the last 20 years in combat. But 120,000 of our brothers and sisters felt it necessary to take their own life. So he felt compelled to do something about it. So did your Cooties. Your Cooties, we came up with a program called the Big Boot Program. And the Big Boot Program is geared to everything about PTSD and suicide awareness. And it wasn't about fundraising, because anybody can throw money at an issue and it not do anything. So what we did, what I charged those Cooties to do, those that are in independent pup tents and all grands, to do at least one event this year geared towards the idea of suicide awareness, veteran suicide awareness, and PTSD. The response was overwhelming. I can't tell you how many events we did over the year. Now, that's a statistic I won't tell you because I don't know it. But the Big Boot Program was so successful that my successor plans on doing it again. Robbie Norman will be up here next year doing this and telling you what we did for veteran suicide. Like in the great state of North Carolina, we did a supreme strides. We found a lake that had a 1-mile track. We did 22 miles around there. I didn't make all 22, I will be honest. But I know a lot of you know Victor Letourneau from North Carolina. He gives me crap every time he sees me. Couldn't do it, could you? But
Did Victor do it?
Victor did all 22.
Oh, I want to see the video. Bravo Zulu.
Commander-in-Chief, your theme of meeting the challenge. When you put that out, I want to let you know that the Cooties met the challenge. I came up with the theme of scouting for comrades. And the reason I came up with that idea was to reunite and get us back together, the MOC and the VFW. So I put a challenge out to our Cooties to recruit as many new comrades as we could. We have 9,628 Cooties. But we met the challenge this year, Chief. We recruited 10,428 new comrades. This is what your Cooties did for your VFW. May I continue? We did that for you. And us. Now, the MOC, our motto is keep them smiling on beds of white. The previous year, we did over $8 million worth of credit towards hospital work. And this year, through our new reporting system, and with the help of our auxiliary, we did an amazing over $18 million in hospital work for this year. And what does that mean to us, comrades and Cooties? What does that mean? That means that is how much we got in the face of other veterans. We were one-on-one with those veterans that needed our help. And your Cooties did that in the name of the VFW in the name of the Military Order of the Cootie. Now that brings me to a story, and I want to tell you this story, and it won't be long, Dan. I know I'm going a little bit over time. It won't be long. Brings me to a story I've told many times in North Carolina. There is a gunnery sergeant. His name is Chuck Pay. Now, Charlie Pay is you all may remember this when somebody says about a soldier, now that's a soldier's soldier. Now that's a sailor's sailor. Now that's an airman's airman. I will tell you that Gunnery Sergeant Pay was a Marine's Marine through and through, a Vietnam veteran. Not only was he a Marine's Marine, he was a Gunnery Sergeant's gunny. And for those Marines that know what I'm talking about, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, a few years back, Chuck had a massive stroke, left him half paralyzed on the left side, or partially paralyzed on the left side. Couldn't speak, slurred his words, and with the Cooties, 5 or 6 Cooties and 2 or 3 VFW comrades and auxiliary members and some other civilians, we found out that in order for him to get into his house, he had one cinder block to traverse 3 feet to get in the backsliding door of his house. When he had the massive stroke, he could no longer do that. So with the help of another organization, the Cooties and the VFW comrades, we went out there and we built him some lazy steps. I will tell you that Gunnery Sergeant Pay is a very big man, big ham hocks for hands. But when you walked up to him and you could see him barely walk, and he could barely put his hands over his head, and he couldn't barely speak, it almost sounded like the town drunk. But when we got done, we were all cleaning up. Unbeknownst to us, as we were cleaning up, he walked out, he walked down those steps on his own volition, and he raised his hands above his head, and he said, "I am no longer handicapped. I am no longer handicapped." As loud and proud and as clear as you could possibly think, and the tears running down that man's eyes, made 10 or 12 other grown men sit there and cry. And yes, North Carolina, not once, but twice. But that is the self-satisfaction of being a Cootie and helping those veterans and helping those Marines and sailors and airmen and soldiers. Helping them is what we do. We do it best. No one does more for veterans, and we keep them smiling on beds of white. Thank you.
Comrades, I would ask those that are not Cooties to highly consider it. I was a latecomer into the Cooties. I've been a member of this organization 30-some years. I think we joined, Jeff, what, 8 years ago, 6 years ago? Out of Delaware, proud third degree out of Delaware, by the way. But now I belong to the Pacific areas. And no, let me tell you, it opened my eyes to see what they did. We didn't have a pup tent in my post, or no, you know, in New Jersey, it's not the strongest. But when I saw the work that they did, it opened my eyes, and that's why I joined, not to say I was a Cootie, I joined because I wanted to be a part of it. So I ask you, if you're not a member, check it out. And see, you'll see the great work they're doing, and absolutely want to be, and I truly think in your heart you're going to say, man, I want to be a part of this. Thanks, Mark. When you make the choice to become a Legacy Life member, you are choosing to not only gain access to exclusive benefits, but you're also showcasing to the world that you believe in and support the vital work that the VFW does. For the VFW, our Legacy Life members have the opportunity to do just that. Membership in this fraternity is comprised and renowned and committed VFW members. Their marks left on our organization and the veteran and military community are unrivaled. And when we can't thank each of you enough for your dedication and support. Today, I'm pleased to recognize a couple VFW posts, each of which have earned the Legacy Society Post Proclamation in recognition of having at least 25 Legacy Life members. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as your post is recognized. With 25 Legacy Life members, Billy Simpson, Post 470 in Erie, Pennsylvania. Bunting McWilliams, Post 658 in Macon, Georgia. Owensboro, Post 696 in Owensboro, Kentucky. The Fred Nehan, Post 2669 in Port Orchard, Washington. The Tidewater, Post 4809 in Norfolk, Virginia. Wayne F. East, Post 4820 in Port Neches, Texas. Where are you? I lost Texas. Where are you? Oh, back there. Valentine, Post 5138 in Valentine, Nebraska. Private Alan J. Beck Jr., Post 5265 in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. Ravenna, Post 5820 in Ravenna, Nebraska. Staff Sergeant James B. Dennis, Post 6018 in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Myerstown Memorial, Post 6076 in Myerstown, Pennsylvania. Jimmy Harris, Post 6837 in Boaz, Alabama. Boaz. Daniel B. Person, Memorial, Post 7108, Helotes, Texas. Helotes, Texas. Wake Forest Memorial, Post 8466 in Wake Forest, North Carolina. Susitna, Post 9365 in Wasilla, Alaska. North Hardin, Post 10281 in Vine Grove, Kentucky. And Tower, Post 10692 in Grafenwehr, Germany. With 50 Legacy Life members. Cecil County Memorial, Post 6027 in Northeast Maryland. Great crabs down in Northeast, by the way, too. If you're ever down there, great crabs. With 75 Legacy Life members. Walter E. Brown, Post 21 in Connellsville, Pennsylvania. And finally, it is my honor to present the Legacy Life Post Proclamation to Wheeler Young, Post 201 in Waterbury, Connecticut, for having 100 Legacy Life members. And then the other one goes to the Robert W. Zayer, Post 2485 in Angeles City, Philippines, for, this is a little wrong, they're up to 179 Legacy Life members, and they're telling me they're going to hit 200 by the end of this year. Please welcome to the stage representatives from Post 201 and 2485. Jimmy? I'm trying to do something. You want it mailed, Jimmy? Can you get it? Before we name the 2024 National Recruiter of the Year, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge some very important men and women who have worked hard day in and day out to accomplish the vital recruiting mission of this organization. I'd like to take a moment to recognize this year's elite recruiters. Each has recruited more than 250 reinstated or new veterans to our ranks, and collectively, they were responsible for increasing our ranks by an impressive 2,665 members. Please stand as your name is called to be recognized. With 827 members recruited, Tim Borden from VFW Post 9972 in Sierra Vista, Arizona. I don't know. With 402 members recruited, Judy King from VFW Post 2695 in Shelbyville, Indiana. Hey, Judy. With 340 members recruited, Ed Stefanik from VFW Post 9539 in Roebuck, South Carolina. With 309 members recruited, Michael Bowl from VFW Post 2433 in Union in the great state of New Jersey. With 275 members recruited, Dwayne Kilborn from VFW Post 5408, Ackworth, Georgia. With 256 members recruited, Joseph Allen from VFW Post 3285 in Frederick, Maryland. With 256 members recruited, Lamar Pounds from VFW Post 256 in Lehighton, Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, I'm just going by what it says. It's George. I'm going to read this again. You're Lamar. Who? I'm just going by what's in the book. I apologize. It's the little things. It's the little, let me tell you, you die of 1,000 cuts, trust me. And with 256 members recruited, Lamar Pounds from VFW Post 256 in Lehighton, Georgia. Yes? It's the little things. Great job this year, ladies and gentlemen. Please give these efforts a well-deserved round of applause. Last July, I told you I was setting the bar higher, that we had to push harder to achieve membership goals. I challenged you to up your recruiting game this year, knowing we had an uphill battle to fight, and boy, did you deliver. Now I'm pleased to announce our 2024 VFW National Recruiter of the Year, a life member from Post 2224 from the great state of Washington, Stephen L. Woodward. Now, oh, there you are, Steve. You may recognize Steve as he was right here on this spot last year. His success in recruiting a remarkable 913 new and reinstated members, nearly double how many he recruited last year, truly speaks for itself. His determination, dedication, and hard work is a great example for us all and reminds us that the future leaders of our organization are out there. We just got to touch them. Please join me in giving a huge round of applause for the 2024 National Recruiter of the Year, Comrade Stephen L. Woodward. Woo! Woo!
National Recruiter of the Year Award for 2023-2024, presented to Stephen L. Woodward, Department of Washington, and special recognition and sincere appreciation of your exceptional efforts in recruiting the most new or reinstated members for this membership year out of all recruiters. Your outstanding performance has earned you the designation as the VFW National Recruiter of the Year. You are commended for your professional achievements and recognized for your dedication to the mission and goals of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and the official seal of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States this 30th day of July 2024, signed by Dwayne Sarmiento, Commander-in-Chief, and Dan West, Adjutant General.
For those of you who didn't know, the person was standing up here with the cell phone recording. That was Paul Herrera. Paul, where? You know, it's an inside joke between me and Paul. For more than 50 years, the United States Department of Defense has dedicated time, personnel, and resources to the sole mission of accounting for Americans listed as prisoners of war or missing in action. What began with the Central Identification Laboratory in Thailand, established to coordinate the recovery of American POWs and MIAs in Southeast Asia, morphed into Joint Task Force with detachments, laboratories, liaison officers, and other subordinate units given the responsibility of accounting for those missing from all past wars and conflicts. Today, the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency, established in 2015, carries on that mission around the world, devoted to an insurmountable task of accounting for the presently 81,500 missing Americans. Just this year, DPAA accounted for more than 100 American service members lost in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. This success was a result of the countless hours spent and tireless efforts of the more than 700 Defense Department uniformed and civilian personnel that make up the world-class workforce of this organization. Through a partnership that has lasted for decades, the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States is honored to walk alongside this great agency in helping to fulfill our nation's promise to bring all Americans missing home. And I might add, we are the only veteran service organization to return to Southeast Asia annually in support of the full accounting mission. Please join me in welcoming to our 125th National Convention the man who has been a leader in the Defense POW MIA accounting efforts for more than 10 years and a true friend of the VFW. Director of Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency, U.S. Air Force Reserve retired Major General Kelly McKeag.
Good morning. Commander-in-Chief Sarmiento, Senior Vice Commander-in-Chief Lippert, and most importantly, distinguished veterans. I'm deeply honored to share in this celebration of your 125th National Convention. It certainly is about celebrating a legacy, and what a legacy it is. Speaking of legacy, I salute your Commander-in-Chief for the unparalleled passion he has infused in his leadership of this great organization. Chief, if ever this country has an energy crisis, all we need to do is plug him into the electrical grid. Woo! As proud as I am of serving in our United States Air Force for 34 years, and 10 years serving this noble mission, I am prouder to be the son of a U.S. Army enlisted soldier, an infantryman who served 1 combat tour in Korea, and God rest his soul, 2 combat tours in Vietnam. But my family was blessed because he came home like all of you did. Searching for, recovering, and identifying Americans missing from past wars is a sacred obligation. Just as all your national leaders have visited our deployed teams in Southeast Asia, here you see your Junior Vice Commander-in-Chief, Carol Whitmore, in Vietnam, helping to recover the remains of a missing U.S. airman. Carol, thank you for your visit. Distinguished veterans, this is a sacred obligation because it involves your comrades in arms. And it's a moral imperative because they made the supreme sacrifice on behalf of the country we love. And because their Gold Star families deserve to have them home. The POW MIA mission is global in nature. We go wherever Americans fell in battle from World War II through Operation Iraqi Freedom. It's also generational because second and third generation family members still carry a void in life and heart, longingly hoping that their loved one comes home. As you can see here, and as the Chief mentioned, the numbers of MIAs are staggering. Even if you consider just the 38,000 that we estimate to be recoverable, these numbers, together with the passage of time, are the enemies we battle today. I'll note that the reason the numbers of MIAs come down from war to war is because our military got better at recovering personnel when they fell in battle. This noble mission benefits greatly from the recognition and cooperation of 46 countries, all helping us towards this humanitarian endeavor that tangibly manifests the people-to-people ties. This very day, we have 265 men and women deployed in 12 countries, from Vietnam, Laos, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, England, France, Germany, Italy, Austria, Croatia, and Poland. And in 2 weeks, we will send the team to China, whose cooperation was restored this past January despite the bilateral tensions. Sadly, there is one exception. And that uncooperative country is North Korea. The reason why this is a travesty is because of the 7,400 Americans missing from the Korean War, 5,300 lie in North Korea, where we have not had access to try to recover them since 2005. I will say there was hope back in 2018. You'll remember when I spoke to you after your Commander-in-Chief, Keith Harmon, wrote a letter to President Trump, who then inserted into the agreement that he made with Chairman Kim for the recovery and repatriation of remains. 55 boxes came out of that endeavor, and we have not had communication with North Korea since. Here in the US, the POW MIA mission generates strong interest in the halls of Congress, in the communities of America. And this is a direct result of the VFW's staunch advocacy at all levels, nationally, at departments, and at post. Ladies and gentlemen, while the numbers of MIAs are daunting, they are so much more than just figures. Each has a unique story with memories that their families treasure and carry through generations. It's important to share one such story with you and to place a face against this sacred mission. This is Marine Corps Captain Ron Forrester, a Texan from Odessa and a Texas A&M graduate. He and his identical twin brother Don, who is 77 today, are pictured here as young boys in Odessa. Captain Forrester was an A-6A bombardier navigator who was shot down over North Vietnam at the age of 25, 2 days after Christmas 1972. Over the years, multiple teams investigated and excavated Vietnamese ground in search of Captain Forrester and his pilot, Marine Captain Ralph Chipman. An unwavering commitment and relentless perseverance led to the discovery last year of bone fragments, teeth, a dog tag, and a gas credit card, all of which were used to identify and account for Captains Chipman and Forrester. I love the photo in the middle. It's from a memorial service in Texas where hundreds attended, family members, Aggies. Speaking, as you see here in the picture, is Captain Forrester's granddaughter, Lillian. Above her, you'll see a photo on the screen of Lillian as a toddler and her young mother, Kearney, who herself was only 2 years old. As you see in the picture, this is the last picture that she had with her father before he went off to combat. As she got older, Kearney was more involved and became a leader in the National League of Families, an organization which developed the POW MIA bracelets that we're familiar with, that designed the iconic black and white POW MIA flag. Kearney will bury her father at Arlington National Cemetery on October 7th. And because he's identified and now home, the American Battle Monuments Commission, you heard from their Secretary Charles DeJoux yesterday, they will place a bronze rosette next to his name that's carved in the marble tablets at the Honolulu National Cemetery. Distinguished veterans, this is why this mission matters, and how your appreciation, your support and advocacy of the POW MIA mission enable us to provide these families, like the Forresters, with answers they have long sought. The VFW's resolute commitment manifests itself in a number of ways, from flying the POW MIA flag to attending the military burials of returned service members. Thank you. For turning in wartime artifacts which are very meaningful to the host nations. Thank you. To your national leaders visiting deployed teams in Southeast Asia, here in the picture you see former Commander-in-Chief Tim Borland, current Commander-in-Chief Duane Sarmiento, and Executive Director Ryan Gallucci at a site where our team is excavating. And by the way, your leadership have been visiting our teams since 1991. Thank you. And thank you for your generous donations that come from post departments to DPAA and our solemn mission. All of this is to say, when it comes to the POW MIA mission, the VFW lives its motto of doing more for veterans. In this case, these are veterans who never came home. Through your awareness, through your support that you promote, you walk the walk for your comrades in arms who are still missing. Distinguished veterans, the fact that the United States of America vigorously pursues this mission is the right thing to do. It's a fulfillment of a promise made to those who made the ultimate sacrifice and to their families. It's also a national commitment to you, their comrades in arms, and to those who serve in uniform today, that they will not be forgotten should they go missing. I'll leave you with a powerful point President Reagan made in a 1982 speech on Memorial Day at Arlington. He said, and I quote, "If words cannot repay the debt we owe them, surely with our actions we must strive to keep faith with them and with the vision that led them to battle and the final sacrifice." The actions DPA do daily around the world on our nation's behalf begin to repay those debts. You all know this. On the black and white POW MIA flag are the words, poignant words, "You are not forgotten." I can assure you the Department of Defense has not, will not forget. And thank you for the VFW for also not forgetting. May God bless our MIAs. May God bless their families and this noble, sacred mission that bring answers to them. And may He shed His grace on each of you, on the VFW, and our great nation. Thank you.
Comrades, I wanted Kelly to hear this. Yesterday we passed our resolution, sir. Resolution 409 stated full funding. Now, when we pass these things, it ain't just we pass them. This is when we go to DC, because sometimes veterans issues, an issue like this becomes the low-hanging fruit when it comes time to cut. This body, sir, has passed a resolution which will press our issue to Congress to be sure that your agency is not only increased, but fully funded in the future. I want you to know that, sir, that we stand behind you like a gazillion%. Woo! 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 Thank you. The VFW Member of the Year recognizes a member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars who has exemplified in their actions and accomplishments the true spirit of our organization in serving the needs of their post and community, and who has dedicated themselves in a professional manner to addressing the pillars of our organization. This year's recipient demonstrates each facet of this criteria and more. After retiring from the Air Force, Sarah Lively became certified in advanced yoga practices to support mental and emotional health for military personnel. She opened the yoga studio in 2016, providing free services to military communities and volunteers extensively with Veterans Yoga Project, even donating $25,000 to its foundation. Sarah is highly involved in the Boy Scouts of America, serving various leadership roles and volunteering 60 to 80 hours monthly. She also contributes significantly to VFW Post 9675, including making generous donations and overseeing renovations. Her dedication led to her election as post commander for the 24-25 year. Alongside her volunteer efforts, Sarah works as a contract training evaluator for the VA and is completing her PhD in I don't think I reviewed this, because you know, it's one of those words again. Efficacy? Efficacy? That's another word that ain't in New Jersey. I'm letting you know that right now. Like efficacy, and then the next one. They even phonetically put this out. Kinesiology. What the hell is that? All right. Efficacy and kinesiology. All right. She balances these roles while raising 7 children. They got cable in Oklahoma? Exemplifying her exceptional commitment to both her professional and personal life. Sarah and the work she accomplishes in support of veterans and her community day in and day out serves as a shining example of what it means to be a VFW member. It is now truly my honor to proudly present the 2023-24 VFW Member of the Year Award to VFW Life Member and newly elected Commander of Post 9675 in Population, Nebraska. Sarah Lively.
National Member of the Year Award presented to Sarah Lively. Sharpe, VFW Post 9675 Commander, VFW Department of Nebraska, in recognition of her exceptional dedication and service and for her outstanding contributions furthering the mission and purpose of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. Her commitment to volunteering, providing free yoga classes to active duty service members, veterans, and first responders at her studio, and her partnership with the VA to provide free yoga for PTS, TBI, and chronic pain clinic patients has had a profound and lasting impact on the lives of many in the military and veteran communities. As a member of the Nebraska State Governor's Veterans Board, Lively has been the voice for military service members and veterans, promoting veteran initiatives within the state of Nebraska. Her coordination with other nonprofits to host retreats for women veterans and active duty service members, and her role as advancement chair for the local Boy Scout troop and council since 2018 demonstrate her unwavering support for her community. Through her efforts as Post 9675's newly elected commander, the countless hours spent helping renovate her post, her time serving as the point of contact for the local cemetery, and her assistance with Buddy Poppy drives and support for community ceremonies are clear evidence of her dedication. Her unwavering support and commitment to helping veterans and active duty service members, while also mentoring and guiding the youth into becoming civic-minded, patriotic future leaders, has justly earned her the utmost respect, appreciation, and gratitude of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and the official seal of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States this 30th day of July, 2024, signed by Dwayne Sarmiento, Commander-in-Chief, and Dan West, Adjutant General.
All right. Thank you. Sarah, once again, huge congratulations on that. The mission of the Air Force Junior Reserve Officer Training Course, or JROTC, is develop citizens of character dedicated to serving their nation and community. The citizenship training program is designed to educate and train high school cadets in citizenship, promote community service, instill personal responsibility, character, and self-discipline. Grounded in the Air Force core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do, the JROTC is mandated to sustain 870 Air Force Junior ROTC units in high schools worldwide. Nearly 1,600 retired Air Force instructors lead, mentor, guide, and teach some 90,000 cadets in high schools in the U.S. and around the world. Our next award recipient, Cadet Unlia Jones, out of Oxon Hill High School in Oxon Hill, Maryland, is someone who consistently displays the skills and abilities of older cadets. Wing Commander is a role typically reserved for seniors, but she was selected for the position as a junior. Taking over the Cadet Wing Commander role only 6 weeks prior to the unit evaluation, she helped ensure her unit met or exceeded every standard. Cadet Jones is an excellent student, athlete, class vice president of the Student Government Association, a qualified color guard commander, a member of the Inspector General staff, and was a member of the Joint Command staff with other schools. As a student and future service member, she has set the bar high and remains committed to achieving her goals. With her sights now set on law school and becoming part of the JAG Corps. Now you guys, now look, I know you people that got in trouble in the military know what the JAG Corps, right? The Judge Advocate General. For all of us that got the Good Conduct Medal, you didn't have to, you may not know what it is. There is no doubt she has a bright future ahead, and our country is lucky to have future leaders like her. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a huge round of applause while we congratulate the VFW 2023-24 JROTC Cadet of the Year, Wing Commander Ulia Jones.
National Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps Cadet of the Year Award, presented to Aaliyah Jones, in sincere recognition of her exceptional dedication and exemplary service and achievements as a cadet in the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps at Oxon Hill High School. Her positive attitude, outstanding military bearing, and superior leadership abilities have set a remarkable standard for her peers. Her roles as Flight Commander, Squadron Commander, Chief of Staff, Vice Wing Commander, Flag Detail Commander, as well as being a member of the Inspector General staff, along with her leadership of the fitness program and participation in the Color Guard, exemplify her dedication and versatility. Jones' membership in the Joint Command Staff, collaborating with multiple schools, and involvement with the Summer Cadet Leadership Camp, where she works with more than 200 cadets from 13 different JROTC programs, spotlights her exceptional leadership and teamwork skills, maintaining a 4.5 GPA, being a member of the Kitty Hawk Honor Society, serving as a class vice president for 3 years, and actively participating in basketball, lacrosse, and teen court peer mediation demonstrates her outstanding academic, athletic, and civic achievements. Her consistent excellence in all leadership positions and aspiration to join the JAG Corps are testaments to her drive and ambition. Her dedication to becoming a better leader and her unwavering commitment to excellence are truly commendable, justly earning her the utmost respect and appreciation of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands in the official seal of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States this 30th day of July, 2024, signed by Dwayne Sarmiento, Commander-in-Chief, and Dan West, Adjutant General.
Well, good morning. As I stand here to humbly accept this award, I can't help but to think of the day when I'm a retired Air Force veteran gifting this next award to another scholar. I would like to first...
Oh, you're good.
Excuse me.
Yeah, let me get that.
Thank you.
Who the hell put this here?
I would like to firstly thank my parents and their unwavering support and guidance as I've accumulated through the years of high school, as well as my junior ROTC instructors, Lieutenant Colonel Branch and Chief Stevens Maynard, as their mentorship has allowed me to expand my leadership spectrum and develop as a cadet. I would also like to thank the VFW, as this prestigious organization has provided nothing but great hospitality and has further inspired me to pursue a career in the Air Force. Again, thank you, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
If I had to bet, she making general. I'm just letting you know. She making general. She comes from VFW Post 5471, sponsor her in Fort Washington, Maryland. Our newest member and post-benefit relationship is Fiserv. a Fortune 500 company that aspires to move money and information in a way that moves the world. As a global leader in payments and financial technology, Fiserv helps clients achieve best-in-class results through a commitment to innovation and excellence in enabling commerce through its Clover cloud-based point-of-sale business management platform. With 3 different Clover point-of-sale offerings and several optional add-ons, Fiserv solutions have something that will work for every post. Now please welcome to the stage for a special presentation, Fiserv Senior Vice President of Government Solutions, Jose Garcia.
Fiserv is committed to providing the military community with career opportunities, educational resources, and business solutions. Through Fiserv Salutes, our dedicated veteran program, we are proud to be the new partner of the VFW. Okay? We at Fiserv appreciate the VFW's mission and foster camaraderie with all the veterans. With this donation, we know this contribution will go to many of the uses that are required within the VFW. So at this time, we'd like to present a $50,000 check to Dwayne and thank you for all your services. Thank you.
For those who didn't see, that was a $50,000 check. That's going to our world-renowned NVS program for the service officers. Look, we are partnered this year with Fiserv. They have a booth out there. Every post out here with a canteen should have a point-of-sale system. If you're looking for one, matter of fact, you guys are giving one away, right? 2. They're giving 2 away. You go there, scan the code, they're giving away 2 Clover point-of-sale systems. And if you have a point-of-sale system and you're paying over 2.2% on the credit card transaction, you're getting beat because they can beat, that's what they got. Just saying. Jose, thank you so much for Fiserv. We look forward to working more in the future, my friend.
Thank you.
The VFW Distinguished Service Award recognizes VFW members for exemplary or extraordinary service to our country through demonstrated actions that promote the spirit of the VFW. Recipients exhibit the spirit of a true VFW comrade through their volunteer actions in service, companionship, and activities to their local community, their state, and their nation. For nearly 40 years, our next guest has done just that. Riding his wild glide in a welcome home parade for the Vietnam veterans back in 1986 changed our next guest's life forever. Then, active duty Marine Corps drill instructor and combat veteran James Gunny Gregory walked away from that ride with a purpose that continues to grow tenfold, and today remains a primary mission of the Run for the Wall, calling for a full accounting of our nation's prisoners of war and those missing in action. That's it. One Marine said, "Hoorah!" That was it. I'll tell you what, if the Army had to do the thing they do, how many would do that?
Marine Corps, hoorah! Sorry, Commander, I got to get them fired up for you.
You know, in the Navy, we just go, Liberty call, Liberty call. You guys can have all your weird sayings all you want. We just want to go on Liberty. Gunny's efforts with the Run for the Wall have evolved into 4 different ride routes, heading to the Vietnam Wall Memorial in Washington, D.C., and the Middle East Conflicts Wall in Marseilles, Illinois. The ridership honors and preserves the memory of our POW and MIAs, paying tribute to their service and healing from their own. His dedication to ensuring no veterans left behind has driven the ride's continued success throughout the years and is the reason the nation's largest and longest organized cross-country motorcycle ride was able to successfully complete its 33rd annual ride last May. His many contributions, not just to Vietnam War veterans, but to service member and veterans from all eras, is why I'm proud to present James Gunny Gregory, a life member of VFW Post 445, with the 2023-24 VFW Distinguished Service Award.
Distinguished Service Award and citation awarded to James Gunny Gregory, Run for the Wall founder, and lasting appreciation and spirited recognition of his inspiring efforts to preserve and honor the memory of those killed in action, and for his continued perseverance and furthering the mission to account for all prisoners of war and those missing in action through the cross-country motorcycle ride Run for the Wall. The dedication and the commitment he has put forth in raising awareness of America's full accountant mission, along with his strive to ensure every Vietnam veteran receives the welcome home they earned and deserved, has made a positive impact in the lives of countless veterans, service members, and military families. This selfless service to others has justly earned him the utmost respect and appreciation of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and the official seal of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States this 30th day of July, 2024, approved by the National Council of Administration, signed by Dwayne Sarmiento, Commander-in-Chief, and Dan West, Adjutant General.
Hoorah! Hoorah! Haven't seen this many combat veterans sitting out in front of me since, what, Bob Hope USO show. All right, Run for the Wall. A little bit of history. I was a Marine Corps drill instructor in 1989 in MCRD San Diego pushing privates. Don't tell me one of you were out there. Good grief. I heard about a group, another Marine veteran, Ray Manzo, started a little ride to Washington, D.C. called Rolling Thunder. And he says, can you come out here? And I said, I'm in California. The only way I can get to D.C. is by motorcycle. I wanted to go to the wall, the original Vietnam Vet Memorial. So I started asking around. Turns out there are quite a few veterans who wanted to go to that wall who happen to ride motorcycles. And so we rode. But one of those reasons I had to get there, and I am part of the Marquez Rescue. For those who are not familiar, after Saigon fell in April of '75, a U.S. American container ship was hijacked by the Khmer Rouge, the Cambodians, 14, 15-year-olds with AK-47s and RPGs. Our president, President Ford at the time, 2 weeks after Vietnam fell, said, send in the Marines. So my battalion left Okinawa, landed in Utapao Air Force Base, Royal Air Force Base, and several Air Force Jolly Greens took a bunch of us. I personally did not land on the island. I have to correct myself there. Took a bunch of my Marines to an island called Koh Tang. Landed right after sunrise and literally got the shit kicked out of us. Intel was horrible. 41 Americans died rescuing 39 civilians. Unfortunately, as night fell and the last choppers that were flyable shot up really bad, and I will give the Air Force all the credit in the world because a bunch of green Air Force pilots got the last of those Marines off the island. Unfortunately, 3 of them on a machine gun team were left behind alive. Those 3 Marines break my heart. Now, earlier, the general was talking about we've been doing all these efforts to find their remains. These guys, we really have not found their remains. We don't know. We know they were executed. So my motorcycle ride that I started in 1989 was in their honor, and it still is. But we have a saying on Run for the Wall: you're not forgotten if you say their names. Their names are Hall, Marshall, and Hargrove. So help me. So help me say their names. Hall, Marshall, Hargrove. Hall, Marshall, Hargrove. Say their names, they're not forgotten. So Run for the Wall will continue to ride. Earlier, you heard the story of Captain Ron Forrester. His daughter, please sit down. You old Vietnam vets can't stand up more than about 5 minutes. I understand that. Ron Forrester's daughter and granddaughter rode with me in May. Lillian was on the back of a friend of mine's motorcycle. We call him Polar Bear. He's a huge guy from Alaska. All Lillian saw for 3,000 miles was a vest. But damn, everywhere we went, she got off of that bike and told people about her grandfather. And seeing his photo up here with his 2-year-old daughter, that's what this country is about, is to remember those. And the only way to remember them is to say their names. Ron Forrester will have a service in October in Arlington. I intend to be there. And Arlington just loves it when about 2,000 or 3,000 Harley riders pull up for a service. I thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here and a real shock. I only heard wild stories about our commander-in-chief over here. Now I know they're true. And I know that he likes to whoop it up a little, but as a Marine, one more time, hoorah. Hoorah. Thank you very much.
You know, you only do this one time, right, when you're the commander? When the first award winner come up and, they started talking, reading her award, and I'm like, yeah, I guess this is it. Just get him walk off stage. I didn't give her an opportunity to speak and address the crowd, the member of the year. So I feel like a total ass. So I asked her to come back up here and at least say a few words to the delegation. I think she's earned that right, being a VFW member of the year. Sarah, please, accept my apology.
All right, well, let me start by saying first thank you to all of my comrades from across the globe. I've had the privilege to run into some of you face-to-face for the first time, so it's an honor to be here and represent the VFW and all the great work that each and every one of you members are out there doing. It just so happened I was the one to represent all of us, and again, it's an honor. Thank you to all my comrades in Nebraska. I see you. So much love for your support and your confidence in electing me post commander. It's an honor and privilege. Not only did I serve my time in the Air Force for 20 honorable years, yes, but it's also an honor and privilege to continue to serve my veterans today. My brothers and sisters, wherever you are, however you serve, I'm here for you. Again, it's an honor and a privilege. And I'm blessed today to have one of my 7 children, Christopher, who is Junior ROTC and the future of our force. And so I'm very proud we have one daughter currently serving in the United States Navy, surface warfare, and we'll hope to continue the service through our generations to come. So thank you very much.
I just looked out in the audience. I'm not sure how many World War II and Korea vets are here, but I know we got one. Ray Cabacar from, oh, I know, I saw him. I know Ray. I call him Manung Ray Cabacar. Ray Cabacar right there next to the Maryland sign, I know. World War II and Korean veteran. How, 96, Ray, 97? Good to see you, Ray. If anybody else is a World War II or Korean vet, please, do we have any? Korean War veterans? I forgot your name. Jim Gray. Georgia, from the Department of Georgia. Jim Gray, Korean War veteran. Any other World War II or Korea War veteran? Yeah, I can see somebody, especially from my own department, stand up. I served in Korea, yeah, in 1999. Who? You're from New Jersey. I don't even know. What's your name, pal? George? George? Korea service? Thank you for your service, my friend. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you for being here. Our next awardee made himself known on the gridiron as a formidable defensive end, striking fear in the quarterbacks around the NFL during a successful 12-year career. His incredible talent, magnetic personality, and world record for the most sacks in a single season caught the attention of millions. But for all the impact Jared Allen made on the field, he's arguably made even a bigger impact after his time in the NFL through his commitment to our military and veteran communities. Not only did Jared spend his time after retiring from football touring military bases in the Middle East, he was so moved by the dedication and sacrifices made by our brothers and sisters in arms, he went even further, starting his own nonprofit to help veterans, Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors. His mission, provide mortgage-free, accessible homes for veterans who were injured during their service in Iraq and Afghanistan. Coming from a military family fostered a deep desire in him to help veterans in need. Since 2009, he's done just that, building nearly 30 homes for veterans, funding one of them entirely from his own pocket. I'm honored to present Jared Allen with the VFW Distinguished Citizenship Award for his many contributions to the military and veteran community. I will now read the citation. Distinguished Citizen Award and citation awarded to Jared Allen, Jared Allen's Home for Wounded Warriors, in sincere appreciation and esteemed recognition for his unwavering dedication and support to injured veterans through his nonprofit, Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors. His tireless efforts and profound commitment to improving the lives of those who have sacrificed for our nation embody the values of service, compassion, and gratitude. From his visits to military bases to thank our troops deployed overseas, to his organization's mission to build mortgage-free, ADA-compliant home for veterans wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan, his selfless contributions resonate deeply within the veteran community, inspiring hope and fostering a spirit of resilience. For this, he has justly earned the utmost respect and gratitude of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands in the official seal of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States this 30th day of July, 2024, approved by the National Council of Administration, signed by Dwayne Sarmiento, Commander-in-Chief, Dan West, Adjutant General. Although he couldn't be here in person, please direct your attention to the screens for a special message from Mr. Jared Allen.
Hey everyone, Jared Allen here. I wanted to take a brief moment to say thank you for this amazing honor and to let you know how sorry I am I couldn't be there in person. So to all the 1.5 million members and all the executive staff, everybody at the VFW, thank you so much for allowing me to be the 2024 distinguished citizen this year. So I cannot sit here and tell you how cool this really is. And I also can't sit here and take all the credit. I have a fantastic team. And for those of you who do not know what we do at Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors, we build handicap accessible homes for our wounded vets coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan. I've been doing it since 2009. And our team made up of Amanda and Alex. Yes, we run with two people because we have such amazing partners and they do an amazing job. We would not be able to do what we did if it wasn't for the sacrifice of people like yourselves and, like, again, all of our partners believing in us. So I can't sit here and accept this award solely on my behalf. So I will accept this award on the behalf of all of you, on the behalf of Alex Karalexis, on behalf of Amanda Rotz, all of our partners, and last but not least, every single one of our recipients, because it is the men and women that serve this country that inspired me to continue to do what we do. I tell you, it is truly humbling every time I get to give a house away. We'll be breaking ground on our 29th house later this year, and to hear the stories of the men and women who proudly serve this country and the sacrifices they made, it truly is an honor. It humbles me, and there's no better way to say thank you, in my opinion, than to give those who defend the American dream a little slice of the American dream. So as long as there's a need, I will continue to serve those who serve us. God bless every single one of you. God bless America. And again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to allow me to accept this award.
You know, when everybody was giving them shout outs to the weird sayings you said, I never asked what the Air Force says. What is it, Brian? Oh, per diem. Well, I guess that's better than Liberty Call, I can tell you that. Can I just hear the Weird Army one again? Weirdos. Our next guest is no stranger to any of you. He's sitting behind me. Now, when I saw him yesterday, his facial hair kind of took me aback. I said, Kevin, you go let that grow about 3 or 4 more inches, you could play Santa Claus. Kevin Jones first joined the VFW headquarters staff in 1996 as an accounting manager. He would remain a dedicated member of the headquarters staff for nearly 3 decades, holding positions in marketing, VFW programs, development, and the foundation prior to joining the Adjutant General's office. First as Assistant Adjutant General, then as the Adjutant General, a position he held for 4 years from 2018 to his retirement in 2022. This was a pivotal time. It was then when our organization and those at the helm were suddenly presented with unprecedented challenges as a virus known as COVID-19 swept the globe. Kevin rose to every challenge, leading those under his command to seek innovative ways to confront the many unforeseen obstacles suddenly before them head-on and with agility. Enacting many organizational firsts and changing the way we did business to ensure our mission was met. In fact, we were the only veteran service organization whose programs and services continued uninterrupted, and many of the changes he instituted allow us to operate more efficiently today. A more anticipated challenge he faced as Adjutant General was that of being able to find the successful balance of doing what's right for business while maintaining member loyalty and employee satisfaction. But Kevin was able to accomplish this by making deliberate decisions, each backed by one determinant, that it was the right thing to do. He operated with keen understanding of both the business and fraternal aspects of the organization, the parallels and distinctions, and the great impact of each. His many contributions to the VFW and those we exist to serve will not soon be forgotten. I am pleased to present him with the Distinguished Service Award.
Distinguished Service Award and Citation awarded to Kevin C. Jones, and spirited appreciation and recognition of his more than 27 years of dedicated service to the veterans of foreign wars of the United States. His benevolence and conscientious approach to decision-making, combined with his passion for supporting veterans, service members, and their families, served him well in his varied positions within the organization and led him to become a highly admired and respected leader in the role of Adjutant General. His acumen in the face of adversity and his resolute commitment to the VFW and all those who work to carry out its mission will remain his legacy for generations to come. And witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands in the official seal of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States this 30th day of July 2024, signed by Dwayne Sarmiento, Commander-in-Chief, and Dan West, Adjutant General.
Well, I probably need the Buddy Poppy step stool up here, child step stool, but my knees knock every time I come up here, every single time for the last 20 plus years, because I am in front of our nation's heroes, and I never took it lightly, and I won't today either. I've got a list I want to thank. Commander-in-Chief, thank you for the invitation to allow me to attend this year. I appreciate it, and thank you. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, National Officers, National Council, comrades, brothers, and sisters, I'm humbled by the award. This award is going to be shared by many in my heart, because I know one person cannot do the things that were described. I don't walk on water, and I never have. I've got warts just like all of us and make mistakes, but the fact of the matter, I feel like I surrounded myself with people that I could trust and that I knew that would lead and fight this mission going forward. Sorry, I'm working off my notes here. I had a ton of mentors. Probably I had the opportunity on January 22nd of 22 when I announced my retirement to begin thanking those. The list is many. From high school friends, past chiefs, to senators, to people that I trusted, and I want to thank each and every one of them again for their mentorship and their wisdom. To those that left us too soon who had an invaluable impact on my career, Gunner Kent, Joe Ridgely, Jack Carney, Big John Bajetsky, John Gwizdak, Jerry Newberry. I think about you often, and I always draw back to those conversations we had and draw from that wisdom to keep us going from day to day. To the VFW Auxiliary, thank you for your selfless support day in and day out of the veterans of foreign wars and veterans and their families. To a key constituent group, the Department Adjutant Quartermasters. All of you were an invaluable resource for me, but more importantly, a major part of the maturation process and education process for me as I began my journey through the Veterans of Foreign Wars at the National Headquarters. There is no doubt you're the heartbeat of every department and a huge contributor to the success, not only with your departments, but to the Veterans of Foreign Wars. I will always hold you in the highest regard. To past Commander-in-Chiefs B.J. Lawrence, Doc Schmidt, Hal Roche, and Fritz Mihelchek, I saw firsthand your steadfast commitment, and your leadership was exemplified and documented by the many contributions you made during those times as Commander-in-Chief to this great organization. Though Doc, Hal, and Fritz did not get to have the full Commander-in-Chief experience, what most people didn't see were the countless hours of meetings and discussions forced upon us by COVID-19. That wasn't done by Kevin Jones. This was done by a team of dedicated and loyal patriots to this organization. The Chiefs, your experience and leadership helped this organization to continue to move forward while most of the country was standing still. Those years on your teams are certainly one of the highest of my career, and I can't thank you enough for your faith and your confidence in appointing me to that position. To the staff, your dedication to the mission of the organization and helping the lives of all veterans and their families made it easy to come to work every day, knowing that each and every day you are making a difference in the lives of veterans and their families, and more importantly, helping move the VFW forward. Your selfless and tireless commitment to the organization never went unnoticed by me. My time with you will always be the highlight of my career. To my wife and family, thank you for your love and your unwavering support, for allowing me the opportunity to help lead the greatest veteran service organization in the world. I love you. Lastly, and undoubtedly the most important, I want to thank you. You're where the rubber meets the road. Your selfless dedication and devotion to helping veterans and their families for making an invaluable difference in your communities will again never go unnoticed by me. You are the heartbeat of the organization, and I never lost track of what you do at the post, district, and department levels, day in and day out. I put my heart and soul into whatever position I had. It was my goal, and I hoped I achieved it, to serve this organization with honor and integrity. In closing, I share this award with you and those that I've mentioned previously for your mentorship, your friendship, and your unwavering commitment and support to the greatest veteran service organization in the world. God bless you, and thank you.
Since 1925, the VFW National Home in Eaton Rapids, Michigan, has remained a prominent representation of the absolute best that the Veterans of Foreign Wars and its auxiliary has to offer through our work together. Joining us this morning are three exceptional individuals. National Home Board President Keith Jackson, Executive Director Mike Wilson, and most importantly, our 2024 Buddy Poppy child, Layla, who resides in the Illinois 2 house with her mom, dad, 4 brothers, and their German Shepherd, Potato. You may just recognize this young lady as she was also last year's Buddy Poppy child. Leia's favorite subject in school was math. She'll be going into 8th grade this fall. Her hobbies are playing video games, creating artwork, and playing outside with Potato. However, the hobby she loves the most is playing the keyboard and mastering new things with her piano instructor, Miss Rhonda. Layla loves living at the National Home because they have a home that is safe and beautiful and offers her family so many fun things to do. She loves playing basketball at the community center gym and volunteering. This past year, Layla and her family had a chance to go to Cedar Point and Michigan Avenue. She's raised 2 pigs, Hammy, and pork chops. You sure that's a good name for 2 pigs, Hammy and pork chop? Is that like their future? and has been selected to help raise the campus pig Yum Yum. What the hell goes on out here at the National Home, Mike? Poor pigs ain't got a prayer with them names. Layla loves being a buddy poppy child and says they would not have this opportunity if not for her mom's military service in the United States Navy, Liberty Call. She deployed 4 times, and Layla says she is proud of her mom and all those who have given their lives, who have served, and who continue to fight to keep America safe. As you can see, Layla is quite an extraordinary young woman. Let's give our friends at the National Home a big, warm welcome.
Hey, good morning. Hey, I'd like to do a shout out to both Department of Massachusetts and the Eastern States. So first of all, on behalf of the board trustees, I want to take this opportunity to thank both the VFW and the auxiliary, and also the Cooties and their auxiliary for all the support that they have given us this past year. Everything is alive and going well at the National Home, and we appreciate the continued support. So at this time, I'd like to bring up Mike Wilson, the National Home Executive Director.
Commander-in-Chief Sarmiento, Senior Vice Commander-Chief Lippert, Junior Vice Commander-Chief Whitmore. Comrades, friends of the National Home, good morning. 125 years ago, the VFW came to life to fulfill the need to support veterans through services, advocacy, and support, a mission that has not changed for 125 years, a mission I, for one, am very proud to be a part of. After World War I, it became pretty clear that something had to be done for the nearly 3 million Americans who went overseas to fight against our enemies. The scene played out the same all around America, but our story starts with the veterans and surviving family members and orphans around the Detroit area. The jobless, homeless, and widows and orphans who were left behind with no benefits after the war. Amy Ross, a 22-year-old woman, while working with Ford and GM and Chrysler to find work and housing for veterans and their families, also worked with the VFW Department of Michigan. Are they not here today? Worked with the Department of Michigan and Department Commander Clarence Chandler, who was very aware of the situation. At the same time, the military order of the Cootie was also looking for ways to support veterans and their families, and we're looking for a central location where those needs could be fulfilled. In 1924, a World War I veteran and cattle farmer named Corey Spencer offered to the Department of Michigan a farm of 472 acres in Eaton Rapids, where the dream and the plan could come together. Commander Chandler took it to the national organization. The plan started coming together in 1924, and the veterans of foreign wars began the process of acquiring the farm that would become the National Home. And on January 7th, 1925, the VFW set the wheels in motion by signing the Articles of Incorporation that launched the VFW National Home. This coming January, we're going to celebrate our 100th birthday. Thank you. I'd like to share a video with you now that tells a little about where we were and how we got here.
I can't think of anything more terrifying as a soldier than the thought of my family suffering if I have to make a sacrifice. And that's really what the National Home was about.
We came up with the concept of the National Home in 1923, but we didn't have the funding to do it. We didn't know where we wanted to do it. A couple of years later, the VFW came up and said, yeah, we want to do this. So they took the idea that the MOC had and they ran with it.
The 1922 World Series, New York Yankees, New York Giants, the baseball commissioner called a tie because of daylight.
This led a lot of fans to kind of say, well, you're just doing this to sell another game's worth of tickets. So they donated the proceeds from the ticket sales of the last game to charity.
One of the organizations was the VFW. If you can imagine, in 1925, we hadn't even invented antibiotics. World War I sent a lot of fathers, a lot of husbands overseas, and a lot of them didn't return. And so that left a lot of widows. Again, back in the 1920s, there weren't a lot of benefits, and so it left them stranded.
Amy Pollitt and her 6 kids were the first family to move into the National Home. And within 3 years, there was 6 families here.
Sergeant Edward Pollitt, he was retiring out of the Army, was on his way to Detroit at what the time they called Fort Wayne to get his final paycheck and to retire out of the Army. And while he was in the Fort Wayne area, he was hit by a trolley car and killed. On March 9th, his wife and 6 kids moved in here.
I was 12. My father died of a cerebral hemorrhage in 1964. And in 1966, the best move for us was to come out here as a family. There was kind of a change, but I ended up meeting some very good friends of mine, and the home became home.
Once you come to the National Home one time, you want to come back. You see the kids and how they interact with each other. You don't know exactly what their story is, but you know something happened in that veteran's life. It's really interesting because the firefighters were the kids. All the boys that were here at the home were firefighters.
I was 13, and that was a development that started, and then it became a lifetime career.
There was a nationwide fundraiser, and the fundraiser was to raise money for a new fire truck. They collected over 8 million Betty Crocker box tops, and they were able to raise enough money to buy a fire truck. They wanted to do another one of these fundraisers, and later that year, Betty Crocker sent a letter to the National Home saying that they were ending the box top program. So one of the things that the home is all about today is really giving a hand up, not a hand out. But that was always the philosophy. And the children, a lot of them have really kind of excelled. The home is necessary. The home was necessary back then, and it's necessary today.
There are a lot of veteran programs, there are a lot of veteran homeless programs, there are a lot of veteran jobless programs, but they don't take care of the whole family. This is the only place I know in the world that takes care of the whole family.
Everywhere I go, I talk about the National Home and what it does for people. Now, there's almost a waiting list to get in. And now we're talking about building more buildings. So it's getting better and better year after year.
The number one priority has been making sure that the people who come here have everything that they need so that when they leave here, they can not only survive, but hopefully excel.
So fast forward to today. We're planning our celebration with many events, including a black tie event in February, a ribbon cutting for the first new house on campus in March, and a community celebration in June. I hope everybody here can come to one of those events. But in the meantime, we're preparing for the next century of service. We're beginning to bring more and more resources to the National Home daily. We get weekly visits from veteran service offices, Veterans Income Tax Assistance Program. We're finding more and more ways to support veterans and families. We have representatives from agencies and organizations around the state and United States bringing programming toward the success of our veterans and families, including Heroes to Hives, Guitars for Vets, and Job Ready Veteran. Recently, the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development was awarded a $350,000 grant to begin a regenerative agricultural program that will give 5 of our veterans and families a chance to explore the many facets of agriculture and farming that may lead them to a career in that field. Pun intended. These are free programs that come with a generous stipend for those who choose to be a part of it. We're not going to have any problem filling these seats. We're working daily to bolster our infrastructure and prepare ourselves for the next 100 years. We've recently repaved the streets and parking lots as well as upgraded our power distribution system. In 1925, the Michigan legislature awarded a grant for $250,000 to the National Home to help build the first 10 homes and other administrative buildings. A couple of weeks ago, the governor signed the budget this year, and a legislative grant was awarded to the VFW National Home for $1.5 million to help upgrade infrastructure and grounds, and we're grateful for their generosity and support. We're doing the work of those who saw the need and worked relentlessly to see the National Home become a reality. We continue because of you. Commanders, leaders, VFW members from around the nation, departments, and posts who have generously given of your time and your hard-earned money to keep us moving forward. We at the National Home are grateful. Thank you. As Chief said, since 1931, the VFW has selected a child from the National Home to be the Buddy Poppy child. The selection is done through a competition among eligible children at the National Home. This selection, as we said, she may look familiar as she was selected last year as well. So please join me and welcome to the podium for a second year, 24-25 Buddy Poppy child, Layla.
Hello everyone, my name is Layla and I'm 13 years old. I live in the Illinois 2 house at the VFW National Home in Eaton Rapids, Michigan. My mom's name is Louisa, my dad's name is Elmer, and I have 4 brothers. Their names are Isaiah, who is 17, Noah, who is 9, Jackson, who is 7, and Potato, our German Shepherd, who will be 2 in October. I will be going into 8th grade in the fall. My favorite subject is math. Last year, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but now I have no idea what I want to be. But luckily, I have time to figure it out. My hobbies are playing video games, creating different artworks, playing on the keyboard, and playing outside with Potato. However, the hobby that I love the most is playing the keyboard and mastering new songs with Miss Rhonda, my piano instructor. I love living at the National Home because we have a home that is safe and beautiful. The home also offers us so many fun things to do. I love playing basketball at the community center gym and volunteering my time at the home. This past year, we've had the chance to go to Cedar Point and Michigan Adventure. We've also enjoyed the state days, saw Santa on a fire truck, and I raised my pig this year, ham and pork, for 4-H at the Eaton County Fair. If you remember, I raised my pigs last year, Hammy and Porky, so I stayed with the theme this year. I was also selected to help raise Yum Yum, who is the campus pig that we will enjoy at the end of the summer party this year. Lastly, I had the honor and privilege of being the Buddy Poppy child for the VFW National Home last year, and I'm thankful to have the chance to do it again this year. We wouldn't have had this opportunity if it wasn't for my mom and her military service. She served 9 years in the world's finest Navy as an aviation ordnanceman. She deployed 4 times and loved serving her country. I am proud of my mom and of all the men and women who had given their lives, who have served, and who continue to fight to keep America safe. Thank you.
Commander Sarmiento, you and I have had some excellent conversations over this year, and you have challenged me to look at some things through a different lens. You have offered me insight into my role and given me plenty to think about in the journey forward, and I thank you for that, truly. I would also like to thank you for challenging leaders to step up to the combined project that you and President Martinez chose to raise funds for, the transformation of a portion of the admin building to the new Welcome Center at the National Home. This administrative space will be transformed into a space where all can feel welcome when entering, a space that offers a sophisticated atmosphere that is warm and safe. Everyone who visits the National Home will experience this space in the coming months, as construction should begin very soon. The space paves the way for the incoming retail center in the near future. I would like to offer you this certificate for the engraved brick that will be placed in your honor at the National Home. I will remember our year with you on our Board of Trustees as a year of growth and learning, and also a year to meet the challenge. I hope I have met your expectations and that we at the National Home made you proud of what we do. We'll always put the veterans and families first as we continue to serve.
Comrades, before we move forward with the program, there's a statement I'm going to put out. Yesterday, this body, the whole organization, attendance here, passed resolution number 414 unanimously. There was not one single no. I just give you history. We reaffirmed our commitment to support the State of Israel with the passage of that resolution. I want to bring to your attention why this is important. You have seen many anti-war protesters commit despicable acts last week in Washington, D.C. during their protest. These Hamas sympathizers spray-painted terrorist propaganda on U.S. monuments, took down and burned the American flag while replacing it with the flag of another country being held hostage by terrorists. These protests are still going on today, albeit a little smaller. Like many of you, I was absolutely disgusted by the vile and obnoxious protest. We fiercely condemn the desecration of our flag and monuments just steps from the U.S. Capitol. Such actions undermine the values of respect and unity that are fundamental to our democracy, the very fabric of who we are as an American people. The destructions of symbols that represent the collective identity of our nation only serves to deepen divisions and sow discord. I think I can speak for every one of us, and make no mistake about this. We fully support Americans' First Amendment right of freedom of speech. We've all been there. We swore the oath to defend the Constitution, and that's number one on the Bill of Rights. We support that. But it is crucial for Americans to express their grievances through peaceful and constructive means rather than through acts of vandalism and disrespect. I want to thank VFW Life member and U.S. Congressman Derek Van Orden from the great state of Wisconsin and his fellow veterans in Congress who restored the Stars and Stripes to its rightful place in 3 locations just outside Union Station near the Capitol after it was torn down and burned in protest. Now look, we fought for that right. I know a lot of us has mixed feelings on burning the flag. It's kind of freedom of speech. But when they're wearing terrorist gear, burning it and replacing it with people that we label as terrorists, that's some bullshit, man. It is time for all Americans to reaffirm our commitment to our country. As VFW members, it is our duty to promote Americanism, to foster patriotism. These principles, respect for our democratic institutions and unity in face of adversity, are the foundations of our nation's strength and resilience. By embracing these values, we honor sacrifices of those who came before us. Make no mistake, understand what I said earlier. Please, because I know it's, VFW don't want to honor First Amendment rights. We do. I do. I bet you all of you do. We hold that vital. Our founding fathers made sure that was a Bill of Rights. But what we see in protest around the country, not only in D.C., I don't think it was what they envisioned. Can you imagine on monuments in Washington, D.C., putting death to America? It's unbelievable. Death to America. How the hell can you say that you're standing in America? The absolute right that you have, that you think to do this, is because you're in America. But you're going to sit there and say death to America. I don't get it. The VFW will always stand with our country, and we will defend her against any enemy, foreign or domestic. You know what? I can't even give a Ric Flair woo because I ain't bullshitting around. This was serious. Well, now our next thing on our program. And I think it's the teachers. They're probably saying, look, it's Jersey education. Public school education in New Jersey. It's gotten better. No, it hasn't. You see, I can't read the big words. Teachers are the very foundation of a free and democratic society. And when teachers are committed to teaching patriotism and Americanisms to their students, those students grew up to be civically responsible leaders. In our effort to celebrate the work these patriotic and dutiful teachers do every day in their classroom, it brings me great pleasure to introduce the 2023-2024 National Citizenship Education Teacher of the Year, representing grades K through 5, Eugene V. Struzik, the third of Dodge City, Kansas. Eugene, Eugene, an Air Force veteran with 26, per diem. Eugene, an Air Force veteran with 26 years of service, hit the ground running as a new teacher in 2019. His military experience helped him connect with students and allows him the opportunity to enrich their lives while reminding them of their civic responsibility and the true cost of freedom. As a 5th grade teacher at Northwest Elementary School in Dodge City, Kansas, he was named the elementary school winner for his efforts to instill patriotism among his students and community. He has coordinated Veterans Day commemorations and established the program Project Mail Call, honoring our veterans, which allowed his students the opportunity to write cards to veterans embarking on a Kansas honor flight. Please join me in welcoming Eugene V. Struzik III, sponsored by Harold Gottschall, VFW Post 1714 in Dodge City, Kansas.
The Veterans of Foreign Wars takes pride in recognizing Eugene V. Struzik III from Northwest Elementary School in Dodge City, Kansas, as the 2024 Teacher of the Year, grades K through 5.
So I want to say thank you to our Commander-in-Chief, Sarmento. Thank you so much. And good morning, comrades, auxiliary members, and our special guest. I stand before you immensely grateful and very honored. In recognition of this great award that I just received, I want to thank the VFW for all their help in getting me to this point. It's all the support. And when we talk about support, I want to first and foremost talk about my family. If it wasn't for my wife and her support that she gives me, I would not be able to do the things I do. And she is the biggest supporter that I have. I also want to thank my daughter who is here today, as she continuously reminds me of the curiosity that children have and just how important it is for us to be able to nurture that education as we move forward. Teaching, as you know, is not just a profession. It becomes a way of life, and it's a part of who we are. My military career, I've always leaned back into it to be able to figure out what is best and how can I put that to make our message, our story of service, sacrifice, and citizenship important to them. And it's by incorporating all these things that they were talking about, Project Mail Call, Veterans Day celebrations, cards for veterans during Valentine's Day, that gave my students and all the students in Northwest Elementary School that ability to do that hands-on, to see the sacrifices that were made by our veterans and to understand that story. Because if we don't tell our story, our students will never understand just how precious our freedom is and how special our country is. And it's only through us sharing that. And so I want to thank you. I had a whole speech, but I was told 2 minutes. So I want to thank you for this profound honor and the service that it means to me. And it means that I'm going to continue to carry on that torch and to keep on doing that journey. And I know with the support of my wife and my fellow colleagues at the school, USD 443, and all their support, through the help of my own post, 1714, and all of my comrades from Kansas, we'll continue this mission and continue to bring our story to the forefront and to honor our veterans and to teach our students what it means to be a citizen and their responsibilities and how precious our freedom is. Thank you. May God bless us, may God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
Next, I'm very pleased to introduce the 2024 National Citizenship Education Teacher of the Year, representing grades 6 through 8, Monica Galloway of Laurel, Maryland. Monica is an Army veteran. That's cute, really. An Army veteran and 6th grade math teacher at the Dwight D. Eisenhower Middle School in Laurel, Maryland, is known for her dedication to increasing participation in her county's Junior Reserve ROTC Training Corps, JROTC, and her implementation of the initiative Immigrant Experiences, an instructional program to help promote diversity and build stronger, culturally responsive and supportive classrooms. Galloway served in the U.S. Army for more than a decade before embarking on her 19-year teaching career. Her time as an Army officer has helped her understand firsthand how important connecting the military and veterans community with today's youth is. The experience has led directly to an 80 to 100% increase in JROTC participation in her county, helping to ensure a stronger pool of candidates who go on to proudly defend our nation. She works tirelessly to increase and improve training programs for her fellow teachers, ensuring that every student in her district receives the best education experience possible. Please join me in welcoming Monica Galloway, sponsored by J. Paul Duke Jr. Memorial Post 9376 in Clinton, Maryland.
The Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States takes pleasure in recognizing Monica Galloway from Dwight D. Eisenhower Middle School in Laurel, Maryland, as the 2024 Teacher of the Year for grades 6 through 8.
Whoa, hello. VFW, whoa. I gotta take a minute, because I tell you this is an awesome honor and a privilege to stand before you. I never saw war, but I was ready to go until today, and still today, I honor and I must salute you for this gracious honor of reaching into our classrooms across America to let those of us who go unseen and unheard, that what we do matters. It is, I so appreciate the love that I've received since the moment I stepped off the plane. And even as I step and I listen and I hear the great words, being able to meet Cadet Jones, that is why I do what I do, so that we can have our students take their rightful places, so we secure the America that all of us have served and defended. And I take grievance with the remarks of the commander of the desecration of Old Glory. Woo. I have a speech here, yes, I do, and we're gonna get to it, but you know when you give a teacher a mic, you're in trouble. And a captive audience at that, oh my goodness. But I won't belabor too long. I first give honor to God, and it is a privilege, honor to be chosen as the 2023-2024 Teacher of the Year for middle school. My journey started as a dependent. My father served in the United States Army for almost 30 years. Put some gut in there, yes. And he lays to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. And I stand making sure the students that I serve, because this is a ministry. If you're a teacher, it's a ministry. It is not a job, it's a ministry. And I believe that if we do not tell our students our future, our past, I'm sorry, they will not be prepared for the future. I stand, my father is my inspiration. And I served in the military, and I'm a veteran. I did not retire, but I appreciate what it taught me. And subsequently, life happened, and 24 years ago, God placed me in the classroom. Little did I know that that military training was prepare me for the battlefield of the classroom. You see, when I walked into my first classroom, I left that day and I cried and I got on my knees. I said, Lord, what have I done? I walked into a middle school and my classroom, I was like, oh my goodness, give me back my good military job. Oh my goodness, what have I done? But I'm thankful that I was able to stay there and see and to learn and understand the power of teaching. I had the best of both worlds. When I became a teacher, I worked for the United States Air Force. Yes, many of you all may know about Civil Air Patrol, the National Auxiliary of the Air Force. I served from a volunteer until absolute coming the Tuskegee Airmen Cadet Squadron Commander. And as I stand here before you, and I look out at your faces, and I'm scared, y'all, I'm scared, forgive me. And I met with the Tuskegee Airmen at Bowling Air Force Base as I asked them to graciously take their name as the squadron name from middle school. And after I got done crying and being honored by the presence of some of those who were still living in 2000, I am gracious. So I stand before you, thanking you for your work. I'm going to skip the next 5 pages. But I would be remiss to say that every once in a while, we get to see the fruits of our labor. I celebrate knowing I played a part in the lives of the current soldiers who are now serving in the United States military, no matter what branch it is. I am grateful from hearing from my students who are serving and serve as police officers, firefighters, who have gone forth and understand service before self, the core values that the Army taught me. We don't stand and look for problems. As a soldier, we find solutions and we act. So I am grateful for you reaching into the classrooms and telling that teacher who feels forgotten, who feels devalued. And thank you, VFW, for seeing me, for giving me a voice. And I will use this voice to continue to make sure that our students do not forget the honor that they take so casually, that the people who have served and defended to make that happen. Thank you, VFW. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for hearing me. God bless America, and God bless you. Thank you.
Last but certainly not least, I'm pleased to welcome the 2024 National Citizen Education Teacher of the Year representing grades 9 through 12. Edward M. Graff of Bridgewater from the great state of New Jersey. Edward is an Army veteran. Guys are weird, man. And a high school social studies teacher at Somerset County Vocational and Technical High School in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Edward was selected for the continued enthusiasm and energy he brings to his classroom and for his dedication to honoring America's service members, veterans, and Gold Star families through multiple student-led events and his establishment of Proud to Be an American Day, which honors the service of those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. A 21-year career teacher, his military service has provided valuable insight to educating students on the importance of service and of the debt we owe America's fallen service members and veterans. His encouragement of student-led events to benefit local Gold Star families, complete with veteran guest speakers and a positive glimpse into the military experience for students considering joining the service, continues to leave an incredible mark. Please join me in welcoming Edward M. Graff, sponsored by Bernardsville Memorial, VFW Post 7858 in Bernardsville, New Jersey.
The Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States is proud to present Edward M. Graff from Somerset County Vocational and Technical High School located in Bridgewater, New Jersey, the 2024 Teacher of the Year, grades 9 through 12.
It's a sincere honor for me to be here today. I can't tell you how grateful I am for this award. I served as a light infantry soldier after I got out of college, and I wanted to serve my whole life. I had a really tough time in the military. It was a really hardcore unit, and it was hard to come out. I want to thank Jesus Christ for being here today. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. I also want to say how thankful I am for the VFW. The VFW has been there for me with any school programs I've ever had to do, 110%. The guys from New Jersey are great. The Basking Ridge, Bernardsville Post, Fred Bueller, District 15. This man, Jim Weiser, is such a mentor to me. He's an amazing man. I'm so thankful for him and all the guys there. Thank you, Jim. The reason why I did these programs at school was when I got out of the Army, and I tell you, in the combat arms in the Army, it was very tough. Okay, very tough missions and so forth. Some of my friends were still serving in Iraq. I didn't serve in Iraq, but afterwards they went on to serve in Iraq. And we had kids in the class that didn't want to salute the flag, and they tell me things, and I'll use the vernacular, America sucks, I hope America loses. I was shocked at this. Now, they're not learning these values at home. Like my father was a Vietnam veteran, highly decorated. Tomorrow will be the one-year anniversary where we lost him. He was a crew chief and flight engineer in Vietnam on a Chinook helicopter. Here's his picture in 1967. We lost him 1 year ago, and I know my father's looking down at me today, and he's proud of me. My mom and dad took me to the Memorial Day parades. They took me to these things. We used to be like 4 to 6 deep at the Memorial Day parade in Union. You had to get there early for a spot at the parade. Unfortunately, it's not like that in a lot of cases today. And these kids aren't learning these things from home. So I said, we got to do something about this. So we started honoring Gold Star families and bringing these guest speakers at a program called Proud to be American Day. It's like a Memorial Day type program. And the kids would say, you know, Mr. Graff, we do have a good country. I realize this. These people sacrifice for our nation. And there are a lot of people that, unfortunately, in education aren't rah-rah America. In fact, I was told, Ed, you'll never get Teacher of the Year. Well, here I am now at the VFW National Teacher of the Year. That's what I learned in the Army as a light infantryman. You adapt, you overcome, you keep going, you give it your all, and you find a way to make it work. And that's what we did. I was told you'll never get a helicopter to come into your school. Well, last year we had 5 helicopters come to our school. I was told you'll never get the Army Golden Knights parachute team to jump at your school. They only jump at like 40,000, event of 40,000 attendees or more. Well, we had the Army Golden Knights parachute team jump at our school. We didn't take no for an answer, because like all of you, you fought for our nation. Well, we're fighting for our nation in our classroom. We're not going to let this go. The truth is, this is a war for the future of our nation. With these young people, they have to be taught these great things about our country. We're not perfect. We got to make some things different in the future. We got to learn. But these students need to be presented things that are factual about our country. We do have a great country, and they need to learn that. So we've had this Proud to be American Day. So we have a short clip here of, and by the way, no government or school funds are used for this, and we were told you'll never get any government or school funds, you'll never make it happen. Well, this past 17 years, we've raised over $200,000, and the students and I, through donations, raised over $30,000 last year. And here's our professional production video we'll show you now of our event.
American girls and American guys will always stand up and salute. We'll always recognize where we see our glory flying. There's a lot of men dead, so we can sleep in peace at night when we lay down our heads. will be served, and the battle will rage. This big dog will fight when you rattle his cage. And you'll be sorry that you messed with the US of A. We'll put a boot in your butt. It's the American way. Uncle Sam puts your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking her fist, and the eagle will stop. Then it's gonna be hell when you hear Mother Freedom start ringing her bell, and it feels like the whole wide world is raining down on you. All brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Of the red, white, and blue. Of the red, white,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, this is one of the best days of my life to be here with you today. And I'm so proud. We have such targets on our back for doing these type of programs. I will tell you to ask your children or grandchildren what they're learning at school. Keep getting into the schools, talk to the young people, teach them about our country. There's so much they can learn from you. And we're going to keep up this fight. And VFW, let's do it together. We're going to educate this next generation of young people in America, and we're going to keep our country going. Thank you so much, VFW.
Our next guest is certainly no stranger to the military community. Fawn Weaver is the dynamic CEO and founder of the award-winning Uncle Nearest whiskey brand, named in honor of Nearest Green, the world's first Black American master distiller. For the past 2 years, Fawn has embarked on an incredible journey across America to recognize the dedicated individuals who have helped propel Uncle Nearest to its status today as the leading Black-owned spirits brand worldwide. It was during this journey when she became profoundly moved by a group of sailors during Fleet Week in New York City. Sailors Bourbon. So, you in the Army can say who, whatever it is, and you in the Marines can say ooh-rah, and you can have your per diem. Everybody know what Navy do, Liberty Call, Liberty Call. Determined to show her appreciation and support for our military community, she would embark on a new tour with the specific mission to visit military bases across the nation. She aptly named this effort, Thank You for Your Service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your support to show her gratitude to one of the brand's most supportive communities. Kicking things off at the MacDill Air Force Base, she would visit 35 military installations over the course of her 16-week tour, immersing herself in the day-to-day of service members, engaging with top leadership, and sharing these experiences with many of her online followers. For her unwavering show of support to our nation's military, I am pleased to present Fawn Weaver with the VFW Distinguished Patriotic Award.
Distinguished Patriotic Award in citation awarded to Fawn Weaver, and special recognition and sincere appreciation of her tireless and unwavering commitment to honoring, supporting, and recognizing America's active duty service members and veteran communities through her thank you tour at military installations across the United States. The dedication and selflessness she puts forth in recognizing America's servicemen and women, while encouraging all fellow Americans to do the same, embodies her patriotic spirit and inspires others. By making meaningful connections with troops and leadership on military bases across our country, Weaver helps to ensure they know their service is never forgotten and always appreciated, thus duly earning her the utmost appreciation and respect of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and the official seal of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States this 30th day of July, 2024, approved by the National Council of Administration, signed by Dwayne Sarmiento, Commander-in-Chief, and Dan West, Adjutant General.
I don't accept awards, and I have to tell you, SEAC John Troxell, where is SEAC John Troxell? Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, retired John Troxell, has accompanied me on every base. And throughout the last 5 years, I have turned down more awards and honors than I can count. But I could not turn down SEAC John Troxell, and I could not turn down the opportunity to be here to encourage you. My father was an enormously patriotic man. My mother, anytime the Blue Angels would go up, when I say tears, like not pretty tears, ugly tears. I grew up in a household that loved, honored, respected our nation. And I do appreciate that every politician ends with God bless America. But I think we need to understand who we are and know that God has already blessed America. My father grew up in Houston, Texas, the son of a domestic worker. He picked cotton in the fields of Houston. He went on to Southern University, and at Southern University, a civil rights organization came in, and it's at the time that sit-ins were beginning. And they offered any person who participated in a sit-in, they said, if you get kicked out of the university for participating, we will give you a one-way ticket anywhere in the country. My father participated. He was kicked out of Southern University, and he chose Los Angeles, California. He wanted to be a writer and a producer. And a man by the name of Barry Gordy in Detroit, Michigan, heard his music and reached into him and said, you know, I've got this startup called Motown, and I've heard your music, and I would love for you to become a part of this. My father went from picking cotton in the fields of Houston, Texas, to being one of the original hit makers for Motown. That only happens in America. My mother gained her patriotism from her father, who was a GI. Immediately following World War II, he was in Germany, where he met my German grandmother. Now, we still, to this day, have never gotten the true story of how a woman who only spoke German and an African-American man who did not, how they fell in love, had a baby, all the rest of that. The only thing we knew for sure, the only thing they would admit was that they were hustlers together, that all of his rations for sugar, cigarettes, whatever it was that he wasn't going to use, she would sell it on his behalf. So somehow, two Bonnie and Clyde fell in love, came to the U.S., and my mother was born in that household. They passed on to me this love of America, not because America is perfect. America is so young, there are bottles of cognac older than us. We forget that America is an experiment. It is a democracy. That is an experiment. What we are able to appreciate, the freedom that I have been able to enjoy, is because I live in a democracy. No place else is my story possible. I left home when I was 15. I love my parents. We have a great relationship now, but at 15, not so much. I left home at 15. I dropped out of high school. I lived in 3 homeless shelters by the time I was 18. I tried to commit suicide twice by the time I was 21. And now I am one of only 5 African American women in the history of this country to build a company that is worth over $1 billion. That only happens in America. Let me tell you why I go to all of our bases, and at this point, John Troxel can tell me if I'm right, but we have been to over 40 bases. We were recently in Germany together at Ramstein and at Vilseck, and I simply go to say thank you. I don't tell them who I am or what I do. I don't want anybody to think I'm there to sell whiskey. I don't care if they know I sell whiskey or not. I am there to say thank you. Because what I understand is what I believe a lot of America is missing right now, but nobody in this room is missing. Not only are we an experiment, but 70 years ago, this experiment became the superpower. How does a country so young become a superpower? And I'm always interested when people tell me it's because of our economy. Do y'all realize that we owe over $1 trillion to our 2 largest adversaries, the ones that we don't want to claim are adversaries, so we allow them to float a balloon through our airspace because we want to pretend we're friends? We owe them $1 trillion. You want to know why they don't collect the debt? Because we have the strongest military in the world. That is why we are the superpower. We must pass on to this generation and every future generation. If America is to remain a superpower, it will not be our technology. It will not be our money. It will not be our advancements. It will be the strength of our military. So to everyone in here that have sacrificed your lives, who wrote and signed a dotted line that said that you would give up your life for this country, thank you. I honor you. I am grateful to you. And God has blessed America. Thank you.
Our next guest served as a submariner and diver during his submariner, okay? It's not limited to Dwayne, okay? And diver during his service with the United States Navy, deploying multiple times throughout the world in support of the global war on terrorism. Appointed as President and CEO of Student Veterans of America in 2016, Jared Lyon continues to help forge critical relationships like the one with our organization to help ensure America's service members and veterans have the tools and support needed to achieve educational success. SVA's vision is one we wholeheartedly support to ensure all veterans succeed in higher education, achieve their academic goals, and gain meaningful employment, and we remain dedicated to advocating alongside them. The VFW and SVA have worked together for more than a decade through our VFW-SVA Legislative Fellowship Program, providing exemplary VFW members who are student veterans the opportunity to make their voices heard on Capitol Hill. Now please give a warm welcome to an outstanding leader and veterans advocate, VFW Life member of Post 3308 in Tallahassee, Florida, Jared Lyon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I would argue it is submariner, but that's even up for debate within the submarine community. It's good to have the chief be a Navy veteran, so it's always good to have a Navy veteran at the helm. Just remember, as a surface warfare guy, you'll always be a target. I could get in on it too, right? So I'm excited to join you here representing my home post of 3308 in Tallahassee, Florida. I am a life member of this great organization, first joining at Post 3308 on Veterans Day in 2010, when I was myself a student veteran, an undergraduate at Florida State University. I'm a dumb kid from a small town in Massachusetts, and the notion that I could ever go to college was solely due to my service in the military. When I was in dive school in Panama City Beach, Florida, I had the opportunity to, as Chief says, achieve liberty. I was mostly a liberty risk for the majority of the time I served in the Navy. But I was in a dive school class in the fall, and so I had the opportunity to go over to Florida State University. No one in my family had graduated college. To see Florida State University as a young sailor, I fell in love. It was the place that I wanted to go, and it was because of my service in the military. And the GI Bill, I'd have the opportunity to go to school. It was the VFW where I found my place as a veteran. I hadn't really claimed my veteran status. I'd been out of the Navy for over 5 years before I joined the VFW. And today, almost 14 years later, I have the privilege to speak to you about the powerful alliance that has profoundly impacted not only my life, but the lives of thousands of veterans across the nation. It's this collaboration between Student Veterans of America and the Veterans of Foreign Wars that has forged this relationship. This partnership has not only fostered a supportive environment for our veterans, but it has also driven significant legislative and educational advancements, beginning with the development of the Post 9/11 GI Bill. Since the passage of the Post 9/11 GI Bill and the creation of SVA back in 2008, the VFW has made a special place for students, veterans, in its advocacy, in its practice, in the hearts of our posts across this great country. The Post 9/11 GI Bill stands as a cornerstone of achievement in the history of veterans' educational benefits. In the years following the attacks of September 11th, 2001, there was a pressing need to support veterans who were transitioning from their military service into civilian life, particularly through higher education. I was one of those transitioning service members, and the VFW looked at this ragtag group of student veterans from all over the country who had come together to advocate for improved education benefits and this new post 9/11 generation of veterans. Recognizing the feeling of needing support, the VFW put the weight of, at the time, their 112-year-old organization behind what would become Student Veterans of America, to advocate for a comprehensive set of educational benefits package for those veterans returning home from service in Iraq and Afghanistan. The advocacy and collaboration paid off in 2008 when Congress passed the Post 9/11 GI Bill. This landmark legislation provided tuition and fee payments directly to universities, monthly housing allowance, and a stipend for books and supplies. It fundamentally transformed access to education for veterans like me, the first in their family to ever go to college. The SVA and VFW's joint efforts ensured that the bill addressed the unique needs of modern-day veterans, setting a new standard for veteran education benefits. The spirit of this advocacy that fueled the post 9/11 GI Bill continues through the VFW SVA Legislative Fellowship. Established to empower student veterans with a passion for advocating for benefits for veterans and our family members, this fellowship offers them the opportunity to bring their voices directly to the halls of Congress and our nation's capital. SVA's very own Tammy Bartlett, a Coast Guard veteran who served in the Middle East and a life member of the VFW, is an alumna of this program and now proudly serves as the voice on Capitol Hill for a nation of student veterans as our Vice President of Government Affairs at the SVA National Headquarters in Washington, D.C. Give it up for Tammy. She's a we got no coasties in the room? There's always a few coasties, right? So in recent years, this fellowship has been refocused to prioritize those who demonstrate a genuine commitment to legislative advocacy. One shining example of this campaign to spread awareness about the Not Just a Number Act. This crucial piece of legislation improves the tracking and reporting of veteran suicide, aiming to better provide support and resources to those who need it. Through the fellowship, student veterans have played a crucial role in advocating for this important legislation and others, demonstrating the power of informed and passionate advocacy that shapes policy in our nation's capital. Their grassroots efforts have taken various forms, from creating informal materials that are both informational and helping organize panels that are aimed at breaking down the stigma surrounding suicide. These initiatives highlight that suicide affects everyone, and everyone can contribute to making a positive impact in someone's life. Another remarkable initiative born from the VFW is the relationship with Sports Clips and their Help a Hero scholarship. Student veterans have routinely named financial challenges as a significant barrier to academic success. Approximately 75% of student veterans work full or part-time while we are going to school. This number is even higher for gender and racial minorities, where over 95% women veterans of color are working while earning their education. This scholarship from Sports Clips is making an impact by providing critical assistance to those who are pursuing higher education. Funded by the generous contributions from Sports Clips haircuts, these scholarships are awarded to student veterans who demonstrate academic excellence and who are committed to their communities. Beyond financial support, the scholarship represents a recognition of the hard work and dedication for our veterans, encouraging them to pursue their educational and professional goals with confidence. Lastly, I'd like to highlight the Student Veteran Support Grant for SVA chapters. These grants, provided by the VFW, are designed to support the growth and development of SVA chapters at the local level, on college and university campuses, and within the communities of our local VFW posts. By funding initiatives that enhance the campus experience for student veterans, these grants enable chapters to create supportive and inclusive environments for student veterans on college campuses nationwide. Whether it's through organizing career fairs, providing mentorship programs, or hosting networking events, the Student Veteran Support Grants from the VFW empower SVA chapters to meet the unique needs of their members, fostering a sense of community and camaraderie. The collaboration between Student Veterans of America and the Veterans of Foreign Wars is a testament to the power of partnership in driving positive change. The chapter president of SVA's current Chapter of the Year is emblematic of this power. As a student veteran in West Virginia at Marshall University, Jamie Springston works closely with the VFW locally to provide a benefits talk, which actively bridges the gap between Guard and reservists and their earned benefits. Jamie is a veteran of the world's finest Navy, where he served as a corpsman with the Marines in a combat deployment to Afghanistan. That's it for the Marines, just a little Department of the Navy cheer. I love it, thank you. Love our Marines. Jamie is currently serving as the Adjutant General for the Greater Huntington Post 1064 and is on numerous committees at the post, previously serving as a trustee for Post 9738. And if all that weren't enough, he does all the cooking at the post barbecue fundraisers. He joined his local VFW because of the VFW SVA Legislative Fellowship. And since he has been a driving factor for increasing the support that West Virginia has given to our veterans. I encourage each of you to engage with your local SVA chapter. I guarantee that there's at least one Jamie Springston and one Tammy Bartlett in every state in this nation. With over 1,600 SVA chapters across the country and in 4 nations abroad, it shouldn't be hard to connect with one near you. And if you need us, the SVA National Headquarters team is standing by to help you make that connection. I am here because of the VFW. I found my place and mentors in the veteran community because of the VFW. I became an advocate for veterans because my post commander at the time, Mark Alvarez, told me to go to the Washington, D.C. office of the VFW. And I'm here because Ryan Gallucci, Ray Kelly, and the legendary Bob Wallace took the time to show me the ropes and explain how to get an idea like in-state tuition for student veterans to become law of the land today. It's today's student veterans and alumni of SVA that are part of this organization. And because of your efforts in our communities across the country, even more can become part of our VFW. As we look to the future, let us remember the importance of advocacy, support, and community. Together, we can ensure that our veterans receive the recognition, resources, opportunities, and the belonging that they deserve. Thank you for all you do for veterans and our families.
Oh, whoa, come on. We gotta get through this, because you know I can't stop. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Honorable Dennis McDonough. Before coming to the VA, he served as the 26th White House Chief of Staff and as Principal Deputy National Security Advisor. He believes deeply, as he testified to Congress, that there is no more sacred obligation nor noble undertaking than to uphold our promises to our veterans, whether they came home decades ago or days ago. Let me tell you, take the politics out of it. I don't care where you stand on which side of the aisle. Secretary McDonough is a true friend of the VFW. You know why I say that? Oh, you know why I say that? Several months ago, when I saw in the Facebook chats, you know, the groups that VFW has, when these big bonuses went out to the VA executives, and they're calling for his head. He's the one that found it and stopped it. He brought it to our attention and said, I don't know how, you know, like, Secretary, I don't know how the magic of how you did this. He found it and said, this is bullshit and we're gonna stop it. So thank you for that, Mr. Secretary. Please join me in welcoming a true friend to veterans in the VFW, the 11th Secretary of Veterans Affairs, the Honorable Dennis McDonough.
Commander Sarmiento, thank you for the kind introduction. You get me in trouble here, man. Thank you for inviting me once again to join this awesome annual convention. Thanks especially for your courageous service defending the nation in the Navy, and for your families' courageous service following in your footsteps, for protecting Americans here at home as a police officer, a cop in the great state of New Jersey, and representing and serving your fellow vets and leading your 1.4 million VFW members. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Let me also recognize Ryan Gallucci and Mike Figlioli, both unrelenting advocates for VFW, for your members, which means I have to say it's not uncommon for those two to be up in my business, if you know what I mean. And sometimes I get a little sick of it. A quick PSA, as many of you know, we have a claims clinic in Exhibition Hall, and the VHA Health Clinic is in the upstairs concourse. I just went and saw them, and we've already had a couple hundred vets over there for the C&P exams or to update the claim. So I'm not going to give you the numbers. I just want you to know that they're here for one reason. They're here to serve you. So please see them before you leave this week. It's a great honor to be with you again, especially on such a historic occasion, your 125th National Convention. Let me just begin by reinforcing something I've said before. No one does more for vets than you. Veterans have no better advocate than you. As you said last year in Phoenix, Commander, advocacy is the heart of the VFW. And VA has no better partner than you. Here's what I'm thinking about. As the Civil War was ending, President Lincoln charged the nation to care for veterans, those who'd given so much, who'd shed so much blood to save our Union. 8 decades later, with the country again deep in war, and millions of Americans being drawn on, being called upon, President Franklin Roosevelt echoed Lincoln, assuring those heroes that the American people would not let them down when the war was won. 1988, President Reagan said that America's debt to you never ends, never can be fully repaid. Speaking of giants, there's Bob Wallace right there. Good to see you, brother. Today, President Biden calls that commitment to veterans our country's one sacred obligation, preparing those we send into harm's way and caring for them, for you, and for your families when you come home. Now, presidents and Americans make that commitment. VA's job is to keep that promise. And VFW holds us accountable to that promise. From your members in the most remote chapters, like Commander Tony Phillips' Golden Heart Post up in Fairbanks, Post 3629, to Commander Morton King's Post 1170, right here in Louisville, to Post 5579 in Gibbstown, New Jersey. I think you know that one, Commander. To Washington, D.C., where Commander Sarmiento, Ryan, Mike, Bob represent each of you to the nation. You hold us accountable to that sacred obligation, to you and your fellow vets. With your powerful advocacy, you hold VA accountable, you hold me accountable. Accountability is making sure VA is caring for you with the kind of conviction, determination, and devotion you showed when our country needed you the most. Making sure we at VA are working for you. Let me repeat that. We, all of us at VA, work for you. You remember last year in Phoenix, I reported out on that work. I told you we had a record-setting year. I told you we'd deliver more care and more benefits to more vets than at any other time in our nation's history. This morning here in Louisville, I can tell you that it's been another record-setting year, because rather than expecting you to change your life to fit into VA, we're changing VA to come to you across the country. That means over 550 in-person claims clinics this year. That means connecting to you in person, like today here at the convention, as well as over email, text, through the media, all in the interest of fitting VA into your life. That's what the National Cemetery Administration's outreach is all about, a relationship that can help give you peace of mind, give your family peace of mind. So when that day comes, everything's taken care of. To make that easier on you and your loved ones, NCA has reduced from months to weeks the turnaround time for pre-need eligibility applications for memorial benefits. And they're replicating that kind of responsiveness for your other memorial benefits, burial allowances, memorial flags, headstones, markers, medallions. That's working for you. And taking that mindset means getting claims decisions faster. A decade ago, decisions on average took nearly a year. Today, it's less than half that. We're faster for a number of reasons, not least because we grew our workforce. And that workforce means business. Last year, they made nearly 2 million claims decisions for vets. This year, they're on track to make more than 2.5 million claims decisions, and they've broken the monthly claims production record 3 times. More good news, you've been filing more claims than ever since President Biden signed the PACT Act 2 years ago, nearly 4.5 million claims so far. But even with all of that, I worry we're coming up short. And why is that? Over 1 million vets have filed PACT Act claims, and the grant rate is at 75%. But there are over 6 million vets who qualify under the PACT Act. So there are still millions of eligible vets and survivors who haven't filed, whether for PACT or any other service connection. We've got to keep reaching out to them. We've got to keep encouraging vets and their survivors to file, and when they file, to file with accredited veteran service officers like VFWs, not with claim sharks. And we're not going to stop until every one of you has the benefits and services that you've earned, because we work for you. On healthcare, we also know we work for you. Remember, your health outcomes are better when you come to VA. VA care is the best care, most affordable care for vets. The best, most affordable care for you. What one report called the significant VA advantage. One quick example. Our new VA tele-emergency care. Carol and I were just talking about this backstage. If you're enrolled in VA healthcare and you're concerned you need to go to an emergency room, you can call your VA Health Connect VISN Clinical Contact Center. A VA nurse will immediately work with you to get timely access to the right care. That might be VA tele-emergency care. It might be a virtual clinic visit that day. It might be an appointment with your primary care provider. And if it's an emergency, the VA nurse will call 911 for you and stay on the line with you until your help arrives. It's a new program. Only about 45,000 vets have used it so far. Nearly 60% of them who've called for help had their issue resolved on the phone with a tele-emergency care encounter. Clinical contact centers are open 24/7. Tele-emergency care will be live in every VISN this October. That makes it easier for you to get the care you need without having to get in your car to drive God knows how far. So, faster access to high-quality emergency care built to fit into veterans' lives. It's a common sense idea, so sensible that you know it didn't come from Washington. You won't be surprised to know the idea was hatched by one of your fellow vets, a Marine. That's what I'm talking about. Who knows that we work for you. Tele-emergency care is all about getting vets timely access to VA world-class care. And I'm glad to report that more and more vets are enrolling in their VA care, over 9.1 million. In just the 2 years since PACT was signed into law, 710,000 veterans have enrolled. That's a 34% increase over the prior 2 years. 40,000 of those vets enrolled under the new PACT Act eligibility. Eligibility we expanded years earlier than the law required. And more vets are using that health care when they have it. Vets will get 127 million appointments at VA this year, far surpassing last year's record. Breaking records good, but it ain't good enough. It's just not good enough. There are still millions of eligible vets who aren't enrolled. So please spread the word. We won't rest until every vet gets the care that you have deserved, that you have earned and you so richly deserve. Recognizing we work for you means more benefits, more care to more vets than ever. It also means that how we provide that care and those benefits matters too. Right now, vets tell us they trust us more than ever. Our most recent veteran satisfaction rating, we earned the highest trust scores since we started tracking this, 2016. You trust us more because our teammates recognize who we work for. We work for you. Let's hear from a few of them. VA public servants who are also your fellow vets. They want to tell you what working for you means to them. Bobby Hall, why don't you lead off?
McDonough. Good morning, everybody. My name's Bobby Hall. I'm a retired Air Force veteran, and I'm a rater with the VA Regional Office here in Lousiville. I love working for the VA, and serving you, my fellow veterans, is my life's work. During my 10 years with the Veterans Benefit Administration, I've probably talked to 1,000 veterans, both on the phone and in person. And in each conversation, I wrap it up with, as veterans, we have to stick together. So what does sticking together mean to me as a VA employee and as a veteran that is here to serve you? Well, it means making every claim like it's my claim and treating it like that. It means going above and beyond to make sure all the evidence is there so that the decision is correct. For example, one late Friday afternoon, I got a claim for a hospice veteran at the VAMC here in Lousiville. I was reviewing the file and I saw that the veteran didn't have much time left and evidence was still needed. So I made it a mission. I went to the hospital that night and I sat with the veteran and his family at his bedside. I explained to the family the evidence that I needed to prove the claim. The family said they had that evidence at home. They told me they'd bring it the next morning. So that Saturday morning, I got up, went back to the hospital, collected the records, and took them over to my regional office. And within an hour of me showing up, that veteran was 100% service connected before he passed away. I had another veteran, Navy veteran, served on the USS Okanogan. My research told me that that was a brown water Navy ship, and because this veteran had terminal cancer, he should be granted benefits. Well, there were others in my office that weren't so sure. So we ended up sending that claim up to central office in Washington, D.C. Central office made the determination that that veteran should be granted benefits. So within an hour, that veteran was 100% service connected. Another case I had was for a veteran that had cancer that had spread. He was in bad shape. He had so much cancer, I couldn't determine the source of that cancer, so I made it a mission to contact this veteran so I could speak to his oncologist. During the conversation, the oncologist showed me where the cancer started, and within an hour of that conversation, that veteran was 100% service connected, along with being granted permanent total status and special monthly compensation for housebound. This is the kind of work we do every day for the veterans we serve. This is the kind of work that you, as my fellow veterans, deserve. Not every claim has been easy, and not every claim has been clear. And I've shed some tears along the way for the veterans that I couldn't get to in time. But I get right back up, and I move to the next veteran up, because that's what you deserve. As I said in the beginning, I love what I do, and this is my life's work. And as veterans, we have to stick together. Thank you. I would like to hand the mic over to my friend Jason.
Thanks, Bobby. Good morning. I'm Jason Broker, and I've been with the VA National Cemetery Administration, the NCA, for almost 20 years now. At NCA, we're deeply committed to honoring veterans with their final resting place in our beautiful national shrines across the country and with lasting tributes that commemorate your service to our nation. Our mission, our focus, and our commitment are to serve you and all veterans and their families with the utmost dignity, respect, and compassion. And we want our national cemeteries to be the place that inspires visitors to understand and appreciate your service and your sacrifices. It is my honor to be the Assistant Director for the Kentucky's National Cemetery. Consists of 7 national cemeteries in Kentucky, 1 soldier's lot, and 1 national cemetery in New Albany, Indiana, where I began my career. It's always been my privilege to serve and support all of you, my fellow veterans, and your loved ones. This job is very fulfilling to me. It is an amazing job. The staff at our national cemeteries are mostly veterans like me and you. I've worked at several national cemeteries and with many different NCA colleagues. The care and devotion my coworkers show every day motivates me. The teamwork and dedication I see every day from all our employees makes me want to always go above and beyond in serving you and your families. It really does inspire me. I've seen a lot over the years working for the NCA, but there are always those 1 or 2 stories that leaves me grateful and thankful for the life that I have been blessed with today. I will never forget about a burial when I was foreman at the Camp Nelson National Cemetery about 100 miles east of here in Nicholasville, Kentucky. We buried a child of a veteran that day, and I still can't imagine how much grief and sadness that veteran and his wife must have felt that afternoon. The burial was dignified and caring, just like all our burials in national cemeteries. And as sad and difficult as it had to be for those parents that day, they still stopped to tell me this: thank you and your staff for everything that you do. I will never forget those powerful words. They reminded all of us of just how important our job is helping veterans and their families in some of the most difficult moments in their lives. Let me close with this. When I left the military, I had no idea about burial benefits VA provides. I want to encourage all of you to look into your burial benefits through VA. And I want to encourage all of you to visit one of the many national cemeteries across the country if you have not already. They are some of the most beautiful places in America. Thank you for letting me share some of my experience working and caring for you and your families at VA. We'll now hand it over to Daryl.
Good morning. Thanks, Jason. My name is Daryl Kyle. I'm an Air Force retired veteran, 26 years all active duty. I was a aircraft repair journeyman on fighter and cargo aircraft, probably about 20 different systems, and it's a love of my life to serve. I've worked at the VA Memphis now for 14 years with some hard-charging colleagues who take a lot of pride in helping vets. I happen to be a voc rehab specialist. It's been a labor of love, as I mentioned. As a voc rehab specialist, we go to veterans. We meet veterans where they are, literally, okay? That can mean canvassing the Memphis Metro for veterans living under bridges, in cars, and in homeless shelters. When we connect with these vets, we find out what their needs are and offer supportive services to meet those needs. Finding a job is central to what I help vets do. Let me tell you about just one. We'll call him Mr. Smith. He was unemployed and homeless, and he also changed my life. In our first appointment, Mr. Smith told me right off the bat, big personality, Mr. Kyle, I need to get a job that will help me take care of my 3 girls. He called his little girls his angels. I told him it's all gonna work out. So I helped him write a resume that highlighted his culinary talents. With that, he got a job at the hospital's canteen as a line cook. In a short period, Mr. Smith was making a livable wage, and he was a favorite amongst the employees and veteran patients. because of his warm personality and his height, 6'4". Mr. Smith also wanted not just a place to stay, but a home. My social work colleagues in homeless services helped him find that. When he was settled in, he called me with that big personality. "You're not gonna believe this place, Mr. Kyle." He said it's totally renovated, 3-bedroom, all brand new appliances. All that's missing is a white picket fence. He said, "My angels," he said, "will love it." I reminded him how it was his work and focus that got him his job and a safe place to stay for his little girls. And with a job in a home, he got custody of those same girls. He said, "You know what? You were right, Mr. Kyle. Everything is working out." Mr. Smith was motivated and upbeat, and I cheered him on because he was winning in life. One time he told me that he was a poet, and he showed me these odd pieces of paper, probably 50 or 60 just pieces of paper where he had grabbed them and wrote down a creative moment. With a big smile, he said, "I hope you can help me find somebody to make these poems into a book for my angels to have someday." Well, ladies and gentlemen, that I wasn't able to help him with. This past Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th, he passed away in a car accident. I'm telling you this story to honor him, his girls, his courage, his victories against odds that would defeat so many others. And I just imagine in my mind that there's 11, 9, and 6-year-old daughters got to see him get it right. As much as we want to support veterans and help them change their lives for the better, Mr. Smith actually changed my life again. He made me a better VA employee and made me a better human being. I'll always be in his debt. So I say thank you. Thank you for allowing Bobby and Jason and I to serve you, our stakeholders, our community service partners. And with that, I say, Secretary McDonough, back to you, sir.
Awesome. Bobby, Jason, Daryl. Bobby, Jason, Daryl, thank you for your service in uniform and for your continuing service to your fellow vets. Such a blessing to get to work with you on behalf of these amazing heroes. Working hard for you, making consistent, steady progress year after year, delivering for you at record levels. That's our job, but it's your accomplishment, VFW. You play a critical role, demanding excellence from VA in keeping our promise to you and your fellow vets. Keeping that promise, paying against what Commander Sarmiento called in Phoenix last year the only national debt, is going to mean we need more resources this year. I know you've heard about this, but I want you to hear about it from me too. As a result of bringing more vets to VA, we've exceeded the most aggressive projections from the beginning of this year. And that's why now we told Congress we need more money to keep delivering more care, more benefits to more vets than ever before. We project we'll need about $3 billion this fiscal year for mandatory benefit payments to nearly 7 million vets who get monthly benefit checks. And we need it by September 20 so those October 1 checks get sent. Next year, we'll need an additional $12 billion for our medical care. So we're working with congressional leaders, with the Office of Management and Budget, to address these needs in a way that allows us to continue to deliver more care and more vets, more care and more benefits to more vets than ever. That's what you deserve. They're your benefits. It's your care. That's what matters most. And we're not going to stop pushing until every veteran, family member, caregiver, survivor gets the care and benefits they've earned for your steadfast service to this nation. So that's where we are in 2024. Providing more care, more benefits to more vets than ever. We're proud of that. But we are not satisfied. And I know you're not satisfied either. How can we be satisfied when we still don't have a relationship with as many as half of this awesome country's awesome veterans. How could we be satisfied when there are still millions of veterans who qualify under the President's PACT Act, but who still have not filed a claim? And how can we be satisfied when we're staring down a monumental national crisis where more than 6,000 of our vets die every year by suicide? Because they become convinced that they're a burden on this country. This country that they've done so much to strengthen. This country that still needs them so dearly. How could we be satisfied until every veteran in crisis knows that there's hope, that there's help, and that treatment works? So no, we ain't satisfied. We ain't satisfied. And that is the main reason I came back to see you. To hold myself and to hold all of VA accountable to you. Because that's who we work for. If you hear we're not living up to the highest ideals, the ideals that you just heard from Bobby, from Jason, from Daryl, you gotta let me know. And by the way, let me know before you let Mike and Ryan know and they get all up in my shit. Because you have earned and you deserve only our very best. So God bless you all. God bless our nation's service members, our veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors. Thank you all very much.
Mr. Secretary, thank you. Home logistics?
Yep. Go for it.
Behind Holt Logistics, the leading provider for logistical management materials, handling and transportation on the Delaware River and surrounding areas, is our next guest, Leo Holt. The Holt family has worked diligently since 1926 to position its company as the premier transport destination for millions of tons of industrial and consumer products. At the same time, Leo and his brothers, Tom Jr. and Michael, have worked tirelessly to position Holt Logistics as a premier supporter to all who serve, including service members, veterans, members of law enforcement, first responders, and their communities throughout the entire greater Philadelphia and South Jersey areas. From instituting veteran hiring initiatives and supporting local bases and military families during government shutdown, to gifting Army, Navy tickets to local veterans, and even volunteering his own fleet of trucks to help transport and deliver Toys for Tots during the holidays, Leo and his family find every avenue available to give back. They once even retrofitted the Holt facility in order to host thousands of Afghan refugees, ensuring they had a safe place to stay while processing. When I learned of all this and Leo's support of the Marine Corps Law Enforcement Association, an organization that provides scholarships for fallen Marine or law enforcement families, and his sponsorship of individuals who participate in the local police unity tour, which helps maintain the police memorial wall, I knew I had to find the most meaningful way to recognize him for his continued efforts. So today I'm